Always make sure the message reach them.
Live from Kingston, Jamaica, broadcasting around the world. You're watching the Teach Dem YouTube show. Intellectual, yet stimulating. Fair, frank, and factual. This is Extra Class, streaming to the world and beyond.
You know, which Teach Them, the #1 intellectual blogging panel on the YouTube channel.
Put over your comments.
They didn't already yet, dog. People, be up on yourself. Right now, I want to tell you, say, I think I and I set the stream. Figure live at 8:30. I never remember say it's 8:20 I set the stream figure live. You understand? So I there sit down and wait and I realize I stream 10 minutes late. Like me and I hawk. Peeps, big up on yourself for that. But there, I want to tell you how long I'm on the stream. 2 weeks.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Ain't about that. You understand? I don't know why I'm on stream. I just on stream. You see? A million things we talk about, but I talk about 500,000. I can't do the whole million tonight. Yeah, you can't tell the people them good night. I will grow you.
Are you just talk, come on. Good night, guys. Hope everyone is okay.
Ask the people that come at your mic.
You hearing me?
I have to see you sitting here the whole night and not so yeah. Right, go we say we start the street.
Yeah.
So peace, I know if you know hear me, I know if you know see me. You know what thing go? Scotty, you went on a date. Yeah man, you go down Peace. Boy, I don't even know if I start tonight. I tell you the truth of God love. You understand what I say? I don't even know because so many different things go on in this country since the last time I stream. Right now, them have a thing we say the country gone to a dog. The dog they leave one name this. The dog, you know, the dog they just bury this about and gone if they didn't even remember to them bury.
You understand? Somebody write and I say, boy, the person who write the movie when you're in Jamaica deserve to get an award. So you're doing an excellent job.
Every day is a different. Some day are drama, some day are soap opera, some day are action, some day are suspense, some day are horror.
Keep your guessing. Keep your guessing what today will be.
Farmwell, what you doing?
Good night, Miss Jordan.
In a real life still. Big up to the ones that went at the building, you know, I appreciate the support. Somebody share the link in the channel group for me then. I share all boy place. You understand? Share in a hawk and then sitting there. Cause me have a see them tonight, you know. You understand? Cause me not understand how big people never mind.
Me have borrowed 100 grand for go for the art.
I want to 100 grand.
Are you get married from?
Yeah, a fool man. You think that me I make my money with spoon and take shovel that you yeah, idiot.
Like I want that money if you really go down about time, they go eat 2 dumpling and look on mackerel gravy.
Dumpling and everybody can cook mackerel good enough. Yeah, some people cook mackerel here. Might as well let me out of tin, you know. Yeah, I was the idiot. Alright, peace. I'm going to start with the COVID situation and get that out of the way fast. Because I want the things we have to talk about. You understand?
Someone saying that line for you.
You know, like, you know, tell you there. 173 COVID-19 cases, 20 more deaths. Is a lot of deaths, I don't know.
And the deaths are just for the day, or is it in a time?
Never find that out, you know. So while the numbers are trend down and kind of stabilize, the number of deaths them still enough, brother. You understand? And them something there. And think, you look decent on the camera, I do. So give you walk around with it. 173 new COVID-19 cases and I said 20 deaths. So Jamaica has recorded 20 more COVID-19 deaths, increasing the tally to 2,153. Enough that, you know, sis.
Remember when I did one?
Yeah, but in our context of things, you know, it couldn't be 20,153 to still, you know. You understand? So, we still have to give thanks to small mercies, don't? The deceased are a 56-year-old man. Well, these are the... Are so many people dead flying over?
Hold on.
What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17 people I know for them report from now. Out of the 20, you know, brother, and 2 from St. Mary, and 1 from Portland, you know. That enough. 1 place, and everybody over 50. Now there's 144 and 49. And Portland 91. So the Ministry of Health says the deaths occurred between August 23 and October 19. So that means that some more numbers are going to have to this in the future. Meanwhile, there are 173 cases with ages ranging from 7 months, but I may always get apart there, to 90 years, pushing the total to 87,970 with 28,945 being active. Now of the new cases, 92 are women and 79 are men. More women there, man. More women there. It's just a reflection of society. You see me? For the breakdown, Kingston and St. Andrew, 40, St. Catherine, 33, St. Anne, 26, Portland, 19, St. Thomas, 12, Clarendon and St. James, 8, Manchester and over 6, Trelawney, 5, St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland, 4, and St. Mary, 2. A total of 1,537 tests were conducted, so that's 1,537. And the country's positivity rate is 15.7.
Still high.
But it come from 50. So in the meantime, there are 165 more recoveries, pushing the total number to 56,271. And some 339 persons are in hospital, with 88 being moderately ill, 33 severely ill, and 23 critically ill. 1 solitary person is in government quarantine, while 37,199 where? Then you had to walk up and down. So that's the COVID situation. Empress, Miss Mark, how are you? Hope Mr. Mark good. Gideon, you understand? It's good to see you. Thanks for the contribution. Really and truly appreciate that. Empress Winsome. Empress Jen, what go on? I cite a message where you send, you know, but I don't read the message, but I know you send it. I do something at the time. I don't play the message on my phone from there. So enough people would have pre me some type of way. You understand? But I don't mean that. You understand? Wait a bit lecture. And in over 900 died in the Providence of Ontario, I think. In one day, wait a bit. So whilst the numbers in terms of new cases, we give thanks because we have come from 900, 800, 700, day after day after day after day.
Yeah.
We still give thanks, but boy. And the truth is that this not gonna work no time soon. We are gonna keep it. We just have to go and try to live with, around, beside, and above it. Adjacent to it, because it's dirty tough here, man.
They can stay with us for a little bit.
You see me? Me hear so them are going to dump some more vaccine soon.
Yeah, me see opposition health spokesperson. 150,000.
So we dump 50,000 what year?
150,000 I think. Soon too. Maybe about next 2 weeks or so I think me see the article. So.
And about 10 days?
About that. I mean a whole heap of time. Me not see how we are going to administer that in a time frame.
And worse, because we take up kind of, and the mentality of the population they're on a level there now, so that's not possible.
And then I haven't heard of AstraZeneca issuing any booster shots yet.
It's too early for booster shot, brother.
Yeah, I mean, so when you give your booster, Pfizer give your booster,
what that mean,
6 months after you take it, after you take your final.
I don't think so quick you shouldn't take the booster shot again, brother, if you take the vaccine. But take the vaccine, you should have at least 1 good 2 years. You have your death. What do you mean? It's just a joke, man, so. No, talk it true. You see what I say? No, but for not serious. But 1 2 years.
6 months after your first dose.
And then when after you take a booster, then when you have a booster again.
Then I want 6 months. You don't realize you're 6 months.
So every 6 months.
Or maybe every year, like the flu shot. Or the flu shot is every year, you know.
I don't love that.
You know, me never take a flu shot.
Only shot me take around there. I don't take no flu shot neither.
And you know, knock on wood. Since
Yeah,
COVID, I wear mask. Me not catch no
I don't catch
flu.
no flu now,
I'm
brother.
sorry, me used to have flu every year, religiously, twice.
Sicky.
What you say?
I chew, you know?
Flu
Come to
beat
think
them,
about
sir.
it.
Yeah. Since the mask wearing that thing, the flu. No, seriously.
Interesting
I'm
perspective that
not
you
out
know.
already.
I never go-
Me sit down and think about it and say, me not catch no flu for sure.
If flu pass you.
Make you go and teach you right now.
I forgive thanks for anything you catch these days, and brother.
Without flu, me I start afraid.
Oh, man. DS, pick up yourself, you.
I would like to ask.
Teach them, tell me something. Did you take the vaccine? And did your sister take the vaccine?
To do the 5. Everybody good vibe. IBS, how are you?
Every night, a general come and ask me with the vaccine.
Take a guess.
Eh? You just have a 50-50 chance, yeah. Yes or no, then, because I don't think of something that way. Whether yeah or nay, you understand, I need to work and advertise. See me? I not influence nobody one way or the other.
You would never
No,
know.
me no. You understand? Everybody decide to make the decision for themselves. You see it? Speaking about the vaccine, something, it mandate kind of, I get more mandatey. You understand? The conversation kind of become a little bit more robust and a little bit more in your face type of vibe thing. So you don't want to suggest say, man, I'm going to go for the date soon, because
But the man that said, him say him
no,
not.
I mean, I really think it's more company vibes because the NCB in a local thing there. Because NCB, well, me not seen an update since because you know it all kind of take over a conversation and the situation with the 2 young ladies in St. Thomas. Phyllis,
That kind of
Phyllis
take over
and Winshay. So a lot of other stories kind of, you know, take a look at thing. Teacher, booster shot is not for everyone. Okay. Oh.
Who get it?
Who get it, Empress, man? So NCB to meet with workers and union and vaccination policies. So the management of the National Commercial Bank has reportedly agreed to talks with the union representing its employees over potentially contentious new COVID-19 policies. I'm going to start out themselves, you know, because here we go on. I'm a company, you know.
NCB?
Yeah, man, I kind of own piece of life. Well, I look a piece.
Okay.
Yeah, so when they start out themselves and make some money, me make some money.
NCB always make money, teacher.
More they make more money. The more
Teacher.
money they make, and more money
I
me
don't
make.
think they need to make no more.
So the meeting was scheduled for one of them day there and thing. As I said, this would then be for a stream from because what NCB basically has said that they require employees to share their vaccination cards with department heads by October 31st. That's when tomorrow. Next week, one of them time.
Next week.
As proof that they are either partially or fully vaccinated. And employees who are not vaccinated by October 31st will be required to submit a legitimate negative PCR COVID test done at their expense every Wednesday. That rough that. Every Wednesday.
So that means you're paying roughly 15,000-20,000 every Wednesday.
So you're up about 60 grand for a month.
Every Wednesday you have somebody up in
But as some people 50% of some people salary that fee month, you know?
Depends how much part time. Well,
I say some people.
Some people.
Some people are about $1.20 a month, daddy. So when you do half of that PCR test, and so whether you drive or you take taxi, either taxi for your gas and lunch and your bills them. Then you say thief, then one man go thief. You wanna laugh.
Are the strong arm that?
You what?
That's the strong arm to get you to take it.
But not force people into it thing, brother. That they are doing now.
No force, you know force.
I don't even do it still. It's rough in a John shop. Because enough of them people they already a struggle to make ends meet, brother. But I suppose the way thing I go still. You understand? And as we discussed before now, that there's not very much in law that says that an employee, your employer cannot mandate
the employee to take it.
So that way, what I think the pastor going to get charged with? It's a good question, you know.
Wrongful construction of ark.
Wrongful construction of ark. I don't even do still.
Okay.
But it's a good question still. It's a good question. But Ryan, I know the government still in a brother have NCB and Digital and them place there, you know. You understand? So it's not like the mandate is from the government. Presently, we know that it may get there, so possibly it's going to get there, so but for now, the company, here. So you know what I think, and the government can't really dictate to private entities how them go about them things. So I don't know. But it's not a way still. Whichever way you look on it,
it's sticky.
You understand? It's sticky like when clear wet. That me I tell you. And it's a holy water, it does dry out, you know?
No, dry out, sir.
Man in courtroom viral video says sorry. Remember El Shabazz? Nah, man, but you are going on, man. Because I never realized him still there jail, you know. From the mash up the courtroom, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
He saying sorry. Then we have to tell us. Tell him what.
Say sorry, now get charged.
Him get charged, man.
Oh. Then it's alright if him saying sorry. What? You don't want him saying sorry?
Forget about what I want, you see? Stephen Witter, who first came to the public's attention in March after he chased away a contingent of police from a section of Helsha Beach, St. Catherine, where he was staging an event, has apologized for disrupting court proceedings. I'm not disrupt in general, disrupt the court proceedings. Man, mash up the court.
But is he alright?
Me couldn't tell you that part. You understand? At education, me did go to school, go do. Me never go to school, go do medicine.
I'm going to send my man to go assess him.
Who?
Artman.
Artman want assessment himself. You can't send man one assessment, go assess next man.
You never see madman that look after madman. Hi, Auntie, good night.
Becca, I continue. I want Auntie.
Auntie Mar.
What's your name there?
Mar say Agbe.
Good night, Auntie Mar. So, Witter was charged with a threat to kill, contempt of court, 2 counts of assault occasioning bodily harm, use of malicious communication, that funny, and threat and indecent language. So malicious communication and wife and indecent language.
And because when you said it just now, that's what I thought it was.
Interesting. We need to research. Somebody won't tell me still. Finara, tell me.
What is malicious communication?
Right.
Maybe.
In probably said that, but they already threat to kill.
I don't know what that then.
He must have text money. The charge arose from an incident on June 11 when he conducted himself in a boorish manner, having been brought before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court to answer charges of issuing threats. The man is a serial threater. When he appeared in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Thursday, Senior Parish Judge Lorian Cole Montague resorted to having Witter and cuff in the prisoner's dock. You are still in cuffs because of the history.
Which is
when I say the history, on the very last occasion you came before the court, your behavior was very disruptive. So, in light of that posture, I view it appropriate and I have instructed the police officers to keep you in handcuffs, the judge previously said. Never tell us the handcuff is salt up your life. No make nobody put no handcuff by it. You always salt.
Any type of handcuff?
No, I don't know about that part. You have to find out what with that one. We are talking about handcuff police. We are talking about handcuff police, Gary, brother.
Okay.
Although they say we stop calling brother.
Me not try getting on the police.
You handcuff thing with salt up your life. One time, you have some salt you can't wash off, you know. You understand?
You know, go make
officer me walk with them, I not go do it. Nobody put on handcuff thing salt, brother. This
you really figure peace.
Yeah, man, I not run, I not do nothing, man. Me come, man. Salt up, man. You understand? Which are we there, say, you know? Yes, you're right. However, a noticeably calm Witter, I'm surprised, walked into the dock, pleading guilty to the offences against him, with an exemption of the charge of use of malicious communication, which the prosecution withdrew. After spending 4 months and 12 days behind bars, Witter told the judge how remorseful he was for his actions. Everything that took place, I am sorry for what happened. I just want to apologize to the court and everyone that was present that day for everything that I have done. And I promise I will do my best not to let anything like that happen to me again. You know, pledge Jamaica. First, I promise on my honor. You understand? The brother promise. You see me?
So Finara explain what is
So tell me what you say. Maybe he sent a text message
or communicated some form of threat through other form of social media.
If you rate me, you know,
Oh,
I guess me tell you say it's a message a man sent. You understand? I don't know who you sent it to still. So no, shall we there? Yeah. He said, in response to Witter, the judge commended him for apologizing, but scolded him for his gross disrespect to the court. Mr. Witter, you have done the decent thing in the circumstances. I don't know why you had to be in custody this long for your own doing. You have been in custody and I don't know why there was this hesitation to not enter a plea initially. Oh, so that's why him still there cause okay. Those offenses are bad. Bad offenses because of where it took place. The courthouse should be a hallowed place. And let me tell you something. As a judge, I will ensure that the courthouse gets the sort of respect that it deserves. The court is a place of justice, and because of that, sir, you need to respect every inch of this building, the judge stressed. Cole Montague then imposed a fine of $30,000 for malicious destruction of property, or serve 6 months imprisonment. Or for the charge of affray, Witter is to serve 120 hours. Research that for me. So what that mean, affray, in the context. Witter is to serve 120 hours of community service. He was also fined $3,000 for indecent language or serve imprisonment of 10 days. For the charge of threat to kill, he was also made the subject of probation order for a year. He will be sentenced on October 27 for the other charges of assault and contempt of court. Witter was further remanded in custody.
Fight in public place that disturbs the peace.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay. Boy, and you see, we go back to that thing again, because I want to say this again. From the onset, you know, people are saying they want to speak up for him, right? I mean, I have no issue with that. I speak up for my right every time it comes to them here, so. You understand? But I don't mash up no court.
But we keep saying sometimes it's not what
everybody
is what you do.
Has the right to stand up for them what they believe in, you know.
Yes.
You understand? But it's a matter of how. You see? So whilst I have no issue with him fighting for his cause, there is one way and another way. Brother.
Man, but he's strong. You see how I bench him?
I bench them weak. You know. Auntie. So, I just that me answer. Feel free. I don't have no issue with a man when I fight for and believe, you know. But. Blessing Sandra, how are you? $100 million SIM swap scam. 4 before court for alleged fraud. You know about that? I forgot to teach it because it's a serious good thing and we lose everything. I'll wait. 4 persons were on Thursday brought before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court accused of fleecing millions of dollars from the bank accounts of customers of First Caribbean International Bank. The crime was allegedly carried out utilizing the SIM swap method. Kind of complicated, but you have to be careful. This occurs where unsuspecting customers' SIM cards that are linked to his or her bank account are compromised, and the telephone numbers are taken over by fraudsters who then create online banking profiles for the victim's account using the victim's telephone number.
They must have $10 in their account.
Through this scheme, one account was credited with for more than $22 million.
Wow.
And the fraud has already racked up $100 million. Well, the good thing more that is that the people don't forget about their money still. The 4 accused in the first Caribbean case are Dosian Moulton, Akeem Plummer, Martina Shim, strange surname, and Denroy Hermit, the crab, who are charged with various fraud-related offences. They have not yet entered a plea. Moulton, an accountant.
Oh.
But watch it right there now. Accountant normally earn
Good money.
very respectable salaries, don't it?
Good money.
Moulton, an accountant, is being charged with 3 counts of conspiracy to defraud, simple larceny, and 3 counts of facilitating a transaction involving criminal property. Plummer is being charged with 3 counts of conspiracy to defraud, 2 counts of facilitating. Shim, a call center employee, is charged with 2 counts of simple larceny, 2 counts of conspiracy to defraud, and 2 counts of engaging in a transaction that involves criminal property. And Hermit the Crab, a call center employee, has a charge of simple larceny, conspiracy to defraud, and engaging in a transaction that involves criminal property.
Oh boy.
So when the accused appeared before Senior Parish Judge Lorian Cole Montague, the allegations are that the First Caribbean International Bank made a report to the Constabulary Financial Unit of occurrences of fraud and larceny being committed by a syndicate who manipulated the bank's online banking platform to conduct fraudulent transactions. The accused, who were granted station bail of $200,000 each, for $22 million, have been ordered fingerprinted by the judge. They have also been ordered to surrender their travel documents, and sub orders were imposed. They are expected to return to court on December 13th. Yeah, man, it's a thing. You see me? And then if you start very innocent, like you get an email, say, some email. I explain it to you, because CIBC need to improve their security, which is sounds so too. You understand? But if it's in the matter, the security stays in brother, you have some man if them determined enough and skilled enough, them still compromise it, brother. You understand? But that's probably a very fear. I don't use that bank, so I don't really know them things still. But while such is a good point, them need to go. You have them the skills. They don't much people employ IT technicians and them something there.
Too much work. That's too much work.
Man gets 2 life sentences for a murder of elderly couple in St. Thomas. Now that's a good sentence.
Yes, sir.
You understand? As a matter of fact, that's a good sentence. You know that we say about the place. Farmer, him go farm food. You understand? Farmer Fabian Skirvin has been sentenced to 2 terms of life in prison for killing an elderly Jamaican Canadian couple in Retreat, St. Thomas. In handing down her decision today in the Home Circuit Court, Justice Lorna Shelley Williams ruled that the sentences are to run concurrently. Then me not love that department either.
No, but then you take it in now, come on.
Yeah, man, they run consecutively, man, so go and live long life. You see me? But that's true, you have to ask it, because a life sentence for the couple of years. It's so more serious when you consecutively, man.
Can't
No say man, no say
I hate this.
Stand there. Serious business. Skirvin, who had pleaded guilty, him plead guilty and get life.
Yeah, man, him play guilty. Say something like a demon. He never planned to kill them and demons.
No, but when I say, man, when you plead guilty, you're entitled to about 30% or 40% discount and everything.
Discount, then I give that deal.
Let me tell you why I'm going to appeal it and say that the sentencing was manifestly excessive. Can we bet?
Nah, bet. I might have money I try bet. Nah, bet that.
No, but I seriously, write it up. Remember, me tell you, say,
Impossible.
I'm going to appeal and say the sentence was manifestly excessive.
Excessive.
Because normally, no, but I seriously now, normally when you plead guilty,
you get
a reduction. Which little?
You get something.
Between 30 to 40%. Finna, how much discount? You get a good discount.
Just to say yes, I true.
Like down a Bashko. You understand? Alright, make a run it in. So Skirvin had pleaded guilty to 2 counts of murder. You read the article?
I saw it, yeah, man.
To 2, come in and read it. 2 counts of murder in July will be eligible for parole after serving 32 years and 4 months.
Oh, so you can't come around?
Right.
No, man.
Oh, enough to come.
Too small and kill teacher.
50. A 50? I don't think a 50.
Would have said, oh, somebody said 50. Finar soon tell me.
About 40, man. I can't. 50? 50 too much. I don't think that's too much. No, but I see it laugh like a joke. Alright, so what you do? You see why I shouldn't get the consecutive now?
Yes.
Is
No.
that right?
No, me see what you're saying, sir.
Alright. So now, Melbourne Flake, 81, and his wife, Etta, 70. Etta was such a beautiful lady.
Lady, right?
Yeah, man. Were found dead at their dream vacation home in Retreat, St. Thomas on January 9, 2018. The husband had wounds to his head while the wife was reportedly suffocated. Both were found with their hands and feet bound. Skirvin's attorney, Anthony Williams, in a plea mitigation submission, said his client is deeply remorseful and did not act of his own will. Okay. But was under demonic forces. You know, come and get out of jail card. He added that his client had revealed during the social inquiry report that his intent was only to rob the couple, but he was overtaken by demons. Demons that overtake a lot of people out there.
Not me.
Never go where the demons go. You understand? William said Skirvin wants the family to know that he is deeply sorry. Them forgive them, so them forgive him. So I answered, yeah. And that he understands their pain and loss and hopes that they will one day forgive him. They said they are forgiven him.
So quick.
But if you give him today or tomorrow, then you'll see him forgiveness, brother. A good look where I number 1 2 year.
2 years just the other day.
For you know people in 2 years ago. You sure with it? The attorney, while pointing out that Skirvin had a history of good behavior, I'm sure, asked the judge to also consider his age, that the act was not premeditated. Of course it was. It's plan it. Exactly how it goes to them plan it. So many things still. And that he has the capacity to be rehabilitated. Well, he have a good while to do that. He also reiterated that Skirvin had told the police in his caution statement that he was under mental delusion and had heard 2 voices, one telling him to kill and the other telling him not. So I never follow one of them not to.
Kill.
The voice is suffer.
The voice they will whisper.
It's a girl voice. It's a man voice that tell him to kill. If you're a fool. The court heard that the husband and wife were killed at their home and that their ATM cards were stolen and used to make various purchases, including a wedding ring. So you got married by the people in blood.
Oh, no, married.
Him girlfriend.
Oh.
Thompson. You understand? The court also heard that Skirvin sneaked into the couple's house with a piece of board and hid in their closet for hours, waiting on them to return. And
that not pre-med?
The foolishness. Both not premeditated. When them beat him with the same piece of board in a court. He tied them up and beat the husband into disclosing his ATM card pin. I mean, I give me now. Because I know him good as a kill me same way.
God. He shall
So what are we dead? Me dead and you dead for hungry. You understand? And then you say employment.
Okay.
Yeah, man, like do some gardening or kind of thing. Like.
So I know them.
I mean, if you know them.
Then why kill them?
3 life sentences if we get. If we get one for him and we tell him to kill 2.
Why am kill them? Good night, Lydia.
Yeah, son. The couple was in the island visiting another employed, Skirvin's girlfriend, Nikia Thompson, and others to do construction work on their home.
And pray upon them. Sad.
And more time that you go mix them out to yourself, you know. You would have so lean black, but things that are weird. So the girlfriend, I know, when I get off, you know.
She not getting charged?
No. She did charge, but she not convicted. See it? Woman charged for murder of elderly couple in St. Thomas freed. But her conscience are killer, man. She's soon dead. The St. Thomas woman who was jointly charged with her boyfriend for killing an elderly Jamaican Canadian couple in the parish in 2018 at 3 years now, was this morning freed of murder, so them convict the boyfriend yesterday and she go back to court this morning. A formal plea of not guilty was handed down in the Home Circuit Court after the prosecution offered no evidence against Thompson. Prosecution, boy. The prosecution told Justice Shelley Williams that the Crown was unable to mount a viable case in the matter. I don't know about it. Among the reasons listed were the fingerprint analysis did not place her at the murder scene, inconclusive DNA result, and that the Crown could not use a statement of her co-accused against her. The father of Thompson's 4-year-old daughter, them have a youth together. So, you know, him and something. Auntie. Ah, boy. There are tough men.
Desperately wicked.
But if man does a cut to man throat in a church, then half of their head. Hey, man, they're serious. You see me?
My engagement ring.
And she accepted, will you marry me, you know?
Hmm?
She know about it, man. She know about it, but...
No.
And I see him they leaf got water, but I'm right. A strange leaf that if you right, you see him there. The water is different. Acidic. Ah, boy. Elderly St. Andrew man accused of shooting wife deemed unfit to plea. Yeah, when he shoot her when he's about 89. Now he's about 92.
Dementia or something like
Something
that?
like that.
Okay.
A 92-year-old man who reportedly shot and injured his wife at their home 2 years ago after allegedly hearing voices has been deemed unfit to enter a plea.
I know me have stuff up my ears. Because like voices, they both randomly whisper things. I mean, no one that whisper to me.
The case against Vivian Rainford, who is charged with illegal possession of firearm and wounding with intent, was called up in the Home Circuit Court, I think this morning. At the time of the incident, the nonagenarian in 90 was a licensed firearm holder. 89.
But at that age,
Yeah,
where man
yeah, so 89-year-old man, a very cussier, said we are not all of them faculties in that. Then kill her today, kill her tomorrow, and kill her next day, we're running by them, I mean.
Fine, but it doesn't seem like him is that.
Then good as name, no. You understand? The court was informed that Rainford was evaluated by 2 psychiatrists. He was deemed unfit to plea by the judge, who then made an order for guardianship for Rainford. The senior citizen's son, Errol, who had to assist his father as he made his way into the courtroom, was appointed by the court as his guardian after being sworn. Wow. A legal guardian is an adult vested with by the court with the responsibility of facilitating the well-being of another person. Under the guardianship order, the son is being entrusted by the court to oversee his father's day-to-day care, take him for medical treatment, ensure that he is evaluated every 3 months by a psychiatrist, and that a report is submitted to the court registrar. I don't fuck that, you know. I don't want it.
Any man will do it for your father.
But that means I don't know fuck. You have to write report like a school. But if at any point the elderly man is deemed fit to enter a plea, the case is to be brought back before the court.
And now what do you fit to?
Additionally, his case is to be reviewed by the court in the next 2 years. What I like, you know, go. You know what I mean? The judge noted that she thought long and hard about Rainford's fate in light of his inability to enter a plea. She said that she had to consider whether he should be remanded at the court's pleasure or to send him to a psychiatric facility or to make a supervision order where he would be appointed with a permanent probation officer. But after considering his age and the fact that being restricted to an institution would not be in his best interest, the judge said that she chose to go with the guardianship order. Rainford was arrested and charged in July of 2019 after he reportedly shot his wife with a .3 revolver at their St. Andrew home. I wonder if he will still want them proceed.
That is exactly what I was going to ask you.
I wonder if you ask her what she feel about it. But I wonder how you can still have a license for your arm now.
No, but I mean, I figure, say, as long as you have all of your faculties in, then you
But
go.
that can go downstream overnight, you know, brother.
No, make that happen.
Because he may have been a good husband all along, you know. Then sit me, you know. My him start to hear voice and shot the guardian. But they think about my name and say it, you know.
Serious.
He not have a gun no more, man.
He them will take it from him.
And well, but you know that gun there no more. I'm sure that one there. So you didn't know, say, whilst a convict can appeal them sentence, the prosecution can appeal on conviction. Suppose court free you, and the prosecution feels
The court shouldn't feel it. He might
can't
take
appeal,
in care.
right?
Yeah, man, I know that.
So I look at thing go on. Senate passes bill to allow appeal against a verdict of acquittal. The Senate has passed 2 bills that will grant limited right of appeal to the prosecution in criminal proceedings in the parish and the Supreme Courts.
Okay. That not sound bad.
Well, like we say, you know. So, without going into the whole light, is a thing. I'm going to watch it and see. Jack Cure remains in custody following court appearance. But that's a run juice on top of it because...
Wait. What?
Then you have a camera up and put it on you and you look nice on the screen, then no problem. You see it? No, me just feel for change, look a bit. You see it? Reflections, that's what the article name and me write it. So in August of 2019, in an August 2019 interview with the Jamaica Observer, Jack Cure implored young Jamaican artists to stay on the straight and narrow path. Okay. He issued an ominous warning to them. Prison never make for dog.
True.
Prison, my friend name, yeah. I saw a song, and I'm not a friend of prison. The 43-year-old root singer who served an 8-year prison sentence for rape is currently detained in the Netherlands for allegedly stabbing a show promoter in the country on the 2nd of October. Franklin Wittemina, press officer with the Netherlands Public Prosecution Service in Amsterdam, told the Observer that Jack Cure has been charged officially with attempted murder, attempted manslaughter, aggravated assault, or attempted aggravated assault.
So much?
It's not even so much, then charge is kind of heavy.
What is the possible
I'm not sure.
But
attempted murder, no way no look of it. You see it? Manslaughter, bless, but
might have 2 more good songs come already.
So yeah, so since the man there with the man don't know good song.
Me just said that I would never. Me love the Cure, you know. Well, I love his songs.
Cure about singing, man. So you laugh, huh?
True.
Eh?
The Cure, sir, but we would have had this discussion already to say the Cure is a good singer. It's like problem around him down door.
Alright, my run down problem. Some running a go on. You know, sure. But again, then, man. He's expected to make a second appearance in court on Monday with a decision for a possible trial date to be announced Tuesday. I'm thinking go court and then remand him for the next 7 days. I think the article is slightly older.
I want a liar.
I don't know them man there. I don't think him liar Jamaica would make no sense in this trial. I like that. Dutch liar them.
Our Queen's Council them.
I don't know if them can
practice,
represent him from here, so.
Okay.
If you get to me, I say.
No man, I get exactly what you're saying.
Well, I get to you, I say too. Jaja. So, yeah. Jack Cure, whose real name is Sikator Alcock, has had several brushes with the law since his release from prison in 2007. Some have been with promoters in the Bahamas and Trinidad and Tobago. That were resolved without court action. The Cure and the promoter them not get along well. What Cure need to do I make him road manager deal with the promoter them. You see what I say?
Stay tight. If you see trouble around them, this sir.
Whilst, you know, man, and me not speak because I know what going on with curiosity. I speak in general.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst you can't make people take every phone idea, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You are the artist, your profile, your work, manager. You understand what I say? Your booking agent, book for you. Them do them part then and you do your part. If you get what I say. And whilst the history is that the man promoter always have a thing, then make the people that will have the skill set for deal with promoter. You get what I say? Judge God. Alright, we could continue here, so. Yes. We shall we there. 2 years ago in an interview promoting his Royal Soldier album, Jacure spoke of plans to write an autobiography. He said it would include reflections on his incarceration, as well as growing up in Cascade and Hanover, where he was surrounded by hard-working people. He also had sound advice for youth with eyes on a career in entertainment. Stay focused on your craft, stay away from negative things, and stay away from everything that will get you in trouble and get you in prison, cause that will mash up your career. Well, mash your career up, he warned. Some people strong enough to bounce back, and some people won't be strong enough to bounce back from it. Jacure added that he learned a lot of lessons while behind bars. Not to trust people, and just walk careful. That is one of the most important lessons. If you can't be good, be careful, cause prison never make for dog, he said. More security kind of follow him more advice.
And then in their own one part, their own so.
It kind of hard, and like in their yard where you can dig up one champagne or birds or mills or one of them man there.
Hi, Kerry.
You see me? Hey, Kerry, what's up, baby girl? You see him? While musically I rate The Cure, a long time I think The Cure kind of dip on a part where
You've been said that.
destruction never there far. You understand? And we can't help but go back to the reasoning there with big roads. You see him?
It's sad still.
Yeah, man, but Little Melody is a great singer, man. Little Melody just, I don't know. You understand?
No,
Something. Jaja.
Good night, David.
So since Dog Paw was killed, I don't stream neither. You understand? I stream since Dog Paw there?
No. Yeah. No, you did video.
I know I do a video, man.
You're not stream since then.
See? Basically, I do a rise and fall. You know,
yeah, man, because I saw that video.
Yeah, man, we do that and thing. But the article here, and I share. I also read an article where reporters from Loop were detailing the circumstances surrounding that interview that they did. And some things happened leading up to it and some things and things. Interesting read. You probably should read it. I didn't see it. Probably should look for it and read it. Interesting. You understand? They said some things that I am not sure if them realize what them say in the article. If you get what I say.
It was not blatantly said. You read between the lines.
You never between the line.
You out there?
Yeah, man.
For everybody see. So why you don't send me an article?
Because you know I'm gonna see them things before me, you know.
I'm not see.
Presenter. Why you deal with big bro? All is well. Big up yourself, you know. Dog Paw paints as a sinner saint.
How for article?
I remember. A day after police cut down gangster Dog Paw, Christopher Dog Paw Linton, tension remained high in Tavern and Bedward Gardens. The article is a little bit old. Two of the critics in time to communities that were under his control and where residents painted him as either a sinner or a saint. And that is what I always said to yourself. No matter what the situation is, you will always have some people that say good and some people that say bad, just like the guy have.
You can't have, as you say, a person never 100%, but there's somebody to say something good.
Because it can bad to you and good to me, you know. It's just like at school, yeah, some youth or some teacher say, yo, how do you work?
And then
I best youth in my class. What do you mean reverse you?
It's true, man.
So I don't see how you think go. You understand? Linton, who police say was involved in several serious crimes before he was sent to prison and continued on that path after his release in April this year, was shot dead by cops on John Golding Road in Elliston Flats one afternoon in a reported gunfire to the police. That was the same day we do outlaw interview. Yeah, man. Terry Gansi, man, that's outlaw.
No, man, no,
okay.
outlaw.
Yeah. I'm sure there, because I must say, I want me to left the interview if that's something I've read.
Yeah, that is true.
So a resident of Tavern, Linton's hometown, said he was always standing up for his community and prevented intruders from invading and causing havoc. He said it was inevitable for Linton to become the Don, but claimed that many of the serious crimes he was accused of were not carried out by him or under his orders, but by unruly criminal elements from the community. Now that Linton is dead, the residents said the community has been robbed of its protector. Paul was a youth me know from baby stage. Me know him and him 3 brothers. Some more vibes used to go on and some people used to get robbed and raped until he picked it up. He wasn't about a badness thing when he picked up the danship, but more like he was defending his community. I know him as a serious youth, said the resident who opted for anonymity. It's such a beautiful word. Him name start call up because when you stand up front, I might read it. Him name start call up because when you stand up front people, you see more. I will my talk still. So them put the danship on him. I never really like the idea, but I him get it. When you stand up for certain things, people associate it with danship. He started to protect the community and you could sleep with your door open. And then man, if you be Minister of National Security, you not fool. Yeah, man, you can't sleep with the door open.
The Prime Minister never promised that we can't sleep with the door
Prime
open.
Minister promised a lot of things. You understand? Don't get me out dark in the night, yeah.
Yeah, the Prime Minister.
The whole politician.
Okay.
You understand?
Alright, my apologies.
Whether the orange or green or whether they end up on the same team.
My apologies.
You know what that team name? Mash up Jamaica. Yeah, laugh. I know him as a leader, and anything that happens under your control, you're going to end up come upon you. Brother, your part were rough though. I will never directly do the thing. You have some youths in communities when they follow rules and just unruly and do their own thing. But those actions will fall back on par because of him them put the danship on. But if them put it upon you, brother,
Take care.
you don't have to take it. You understand what I say? You take it kawa.
Somebody else
Because you want it. What kind of body else want it? Somebody else always want danship boy. Then why man fight over turf and this?
Maybe nobody never want that one.
That one day. Dog was a shit on there one day. But that's right. Dog part. Which are this? Me last. Which are there?
He's not a saint.
No, when I reason say
He's not the saint.
no man. None of the things I hear about Pa are not true. Him not take foolishness though. Others may just fear talking to you about it. But I know Pa's a good youth at the resident. However, a neighbor in Bedward Gardens, while most residents feared seeing anything good or bad about Linton, one man insisted that the slain gangster was no saint, as many people are falling victim to his ruthlessness. He's not a saint. Enough people them man they make dead about here. Me never see him a fire shot yet, you know. But we see him with gun and walk through with them boys them. Them man they know the whole place. Him stay from all prison and other man for dead. So when him come out, him can't have less rivals, the residents said. Just found it to be a very interesting article. You understand? We just read it. Alleged burglar of ex-police commissioner's house killed.
Which one are the commission?
Oh, well. Ellington.
So which part where the robbery took place?
The house, I think about Glengaff on one part, right?
In Glengaff on the hillside.
Your house is nice, you know?
Very.
You know your house?
Yeah, man, very nice up there.
You see for one picture.
Perch on the hillside.
But I live there.
It's nice. Same never know say commission place.
I don't know, you know, I don't know him fellow.
You should ask, man.
Oh. The brother of retired police chief Owen Ellington is recovering from injuries he sustained in a confrontation with a man who was fatally shot during a reported breaking at the former commissioner's Glengoff St. Catherine home. Crime scene tape and bloodstains at the entrance to the house were telling signs of the violence that unfolded on Monday night around 7 in the usually serene rural community. The dead man has been identified as 31-year-old Andrade Davis. It is alleged that Ellington's brother, who is a district constable, attempted to open the front door when he was chopped on his left hand by Davis. Okay. I didn't read the article. I just see the house and I see the house is nice.
Nice, for sure.
It fit me. Both men were taken to the Lindsay Hospital where the alleged burglar was pronounced dead. And Ellington's brother received treatment. So the Jamaica Defense Force soldiers were summoned to the scene while Davis, who was armed with a machete, was still reportedly acting dangerously. Residents claim that more than a dozen explosions were heard. The members of the security forces have been removed from frontline duties pending counseling and administrative review. Based on the allegation, you need to shoot one man so much there. And why soldiers, but this is the thing, why soldiers were deployed there and not police officers?
Yeah, because all the residents belong to.
But it shouldn't matter. He wasn't there.
It would seem not.
No, I'm not there. Based on some other things I'm here. Well, yeah. Now, I will not say if you broke in a people place and I said,
Who could have said
if
that?
a 12 shot, that enough shot, and why the military instead of the JC, if you get what I said. Because how close soldiers would end there. How close soldiers would end there to this.
Yeah, we then did it in the vicinity. In nearby bushes.
I like to talk to you sometimes.
Maybe they were in the vicinity. I'm just saying it's a possibility, ain't it? Suppose they did an operations up in there. And the incident occurred, so they were nearby.
I don't say nothing.
I don't say nothing there. It's a possibility.
The firearms involved have also been taken for inspection. Ellington was reportedly not at the house at the time of the incident and declined comment on the matter when contacted on Tuesday. The Independent Commissioner of Investigations have been notified of the incident, and Monday night's encounter reportedly lasted more than 3 hours.
Oh, so them have a little standoff thing up there?
So now soldier get to end up there, brother. Because them say him still act dangerously. Me I wonder if him...
Unsound, man.
Right.
Possible.
Because that not sound so.
Possible, because I will leave advice I whisper these days. So. It's possible.
Residents of the St. Catherine district said they knew the alleged perpetrator. The youth used to live around here, but him leave and they are town and come back. A resident speaking on condition of anonymity said on Tuesday. Now further reports indicate that Davis was recently in custody on a charge of simple larceny. Him know if he broke house and steal any little thing, bottle or them thing there. Him known for stealing, said a source close to the investigation.
Okay.
Set that way. Omar, how are you with the youth? You don't want to read one of the story, I'm tell you.
I'm doing nothing if you week. I'm tired. I'm not afraid for week, sir.
Team killed over $50 bet. Over a $50 bet.
How them bet, man?
You know, I don't read the article yet, no. I read it now with you. A mother is left to ponder where she went wrong with her 16-year-old son, Dominic Dare, who was stabbed and killed by one of his friends on October 1. Oh, I remember the story, you know. Following an argument over $10 during a game of dice in McIntyre Villa, Kingston. What's worse for Ashona Wilson, 40 years old, is that Dominic's tragic death occurred just weeks before her eldest child, Maliki Thomas, 20, received the Grace Kennedy Carlton Alexander Scholarship to further his studies at the University of the West Indies. That is very nice, though.
So one excel and one
I want to go down. When I move up and when I move down.
Rough.
Georgia. Malik is a second year student. Well, a second year student and is currently doing a double major in economics and accounting. That doesn't sound bad.
Not at all.
While Dominic was in his final year at the Clancarty High School. So Distraught Wilson, who makes her living from clothes vending, told reporters that she is unable to come to terms with the death of Dominic, the second of her 4 children. I often sit down and question myself where it went wrong. I don't know if it was the environment, said a tearful Wilson. Not everybody is going to be focused like a Malik, and the system do not get out the kids them at times, but I think he was easily misled.
Okay.
Honest, mommy. I always encourage him to be a leader and not a follower, to do something positive that people would want to follow. Although happy for the successes of her Malik, her eldest child, she said that her joy quickly turns into sorrow whenever she thinks about Dominic. You understand that? I cannot beat up myself and feel sorry for myself for too long, because I know I honestly tried my best, she said. I have 4 kids and you know you have a little rough one in every family. Dominic was like that. He was a little bit rough around the edges. But at the end of the day, he was a good kid because he was very compassionate and helpful. But he was very stubborn and had a bad temper. He always come and say, Mommy, you alright? Me have $500. You want me buy you nothing? But me nah sugarcoat nothing. He was fearless and the rough one. His death came as a shocker to several residents in McIntyre Villa, which has seen a flare-up of murders and shootings over the past month. According to the police, Dominic and a friend were playing a game of dice when they had a disagreement over raising the stakes from $10 to $50.
Sorry, we still a gambling cause in our youth.
But remember, so always start, I always tell you them say,
Sweet
we're
gambling.
not gonna stop until one hour
Somebody died.
dead.
You always say that.
And a few conversations me have with the youth
About
saying about that, you know.
How we see where gambling cause, sir?
One of them got dead over $50 and one of them got spend 50 years in a prison. Who it gonna be?
Toss it up in the air. We always say that because they use them love, like them, the gambling take them over.
Dominic and a friend were, we said that already. Yeah. Dominic decided to stop playing, but an argument ensued and he was stabbed multiple times in his chest. Wilson said that she did not know when Dominic left the house on the day he died. I only hear my friend came to tell me that my son was stabbed. When I reached the hospital and see his condition and the amount of blood that he lost, I started crying, she said. Thomas, who hopes to one day become an external auditor, is totally dejected. He said that he shared a close bond with his brother and tried several times to get him to focus on his education. I would speak to him, but I guess it was just hard for him. I tried my best to counsel him. We were very close. In the evenings when I go home, we would always play and spend quality time until time for me to log on to class, he said. It's been rough. It is hard coming home and not seeing him around. I have night classes and that affects me as well. I feel very depressed.
You need to cook counseling.
Probably you don't want a brother like me. Mix up a counseling.
Oh. Just get what you're saying.
Yeah, man.
It's sad.
Drop in few puff chests in it and a couple ears as from time to time. I can hear. And probably help me. Probably not too still, but brother look like him just a counselor.
The gambling thing they teach how the
But
youths.
man, I know something I see. Look how much time with their school and them why I start with gambling, man.
The gambling thing they with the youths then.
Me have to lace 1 and 2, man. I know some people that teach. Yeah, we lace 1 and 2, man, and we not pretty it up.
The gambling.
I mean, I lace 2 more too. I move from answer with the gambling, man.
Gambling, sir. Gambling. Use them for
I want to see consuming you with them, Scotty.
Say use them
Remember
to
what
come to school and not reach, then stop on a gamble.
We see-
Whole day.
We see gambling consuming you with them now. Full scale war, you know, brother. Me now their class already and end up have a fight about 10 man a war over gambling, man.
Money no
Run
split.
at the whole part there, man.
The money no split right.
Kick me off your kick, man, to keep them apart, brother. Until somebody else come there. Allah. I remember saying what they are afraid of. So I'll be a kick, man. Business with them, man. More for yourself.
Come on, never not kill them.
I never forget that day there. That day they teach me good class and brother.
Teacher, when me reach my friend.
Can't enough people think I'm going to youth them a war. Nah, man, I just have to kick them
Reach
some.
about 50 man and try war them. Also.
Teacher need to do more longer video. You're bad. No. Long video thing take a lot of edit, brother. Interview them long enough, man. We're not sitting and chat for 10 minutes and 3 seconds. Just see YouTube 10 minutes, about 3 minutes at 3 minutes, about 2 minutes at 2 minutes. Yeah, sir. And then everybody attention span like that neither, brother.
Afterwards.
Yeah, man. So next thing, we just do your work and move on. And then I sit down and fluff up a thing for 10 minutes.
No,
and
you say
3
what?
seconds.
You say what?
If we do video 45 seconds. And just because I'm in intro and outro, I can go over a minute, you know. I'm gone, my business, brother. That's the information I have. I can't make information. I'm gone. Yeah, so man with that 45 seconds is a 15-minute video. I'm gone. You don't have time for that. But I saw you ask 7G, but it works. For me, it works still. You understand? We do well same way despite. So some video will be longer than thing. Teacher, Christmas is seen already. You know, I always have my local pixel like them. It just had a little thing to your background. You know what I mean? There's a little thing there. Nothing serious.
Go like?
Go like them.
Oh.
Them name pixel light, brother. Don't mix up my light and go light. Youths! I want to leave the gambling thing alone, brother. You understand what I say? $50 can cost you 50 years. Or can cost a family.
Your life.
A lifetime of tears.
Yeah, a $50 I'm dead over.
Yeah, so I know the first man that over $50, brother. Remember one morning I talked to the youth them. I think it was a grade 10 youth. And it was a boy devotion. I think it was a boy's devotion. See, because there was an incident where some other school, some gambling over $50, see youth dead. I remember having that distinct discussion with the youth them the morning there, brother. You understand? And boy, I don't even know. Brother. And then, but you see, enough of the youth them come from home, so them and them parents don't want the same gambling table, you know, brother.
Or them get sent go buy it. And when them go buy it, then just buy something for themselves too.
Oh, we need to talk about cash pot part. We are talking about gambling, card playing, dice, and this. The road out there rough, you know.
Road full of hole.
Teach, when will you interview Terror Fabulous? Whenever Terror Fabulous is available and okay enough to do an interview. You understand? Many people ask about terror and they don't understand terror situation. It is very delicate. He's sometimes, you know, in a position, in a state where he's not able to have that interview. All right, and not only an interview, but my type of interview. Whilst he may be able to do a 5 minutes, 10 minutes thing, you understand? He may not be able to do 2 hours. Zane, and many people know that that is one of my dream interviews.
Yes.
Zane, and I have tried many different angles and approaches, and it just not work.
It hasn't worked yet.
And I'm now going to force it, knowing his situation as well. If he's ever in a state where he can agree to, I will sit down and hold a reason and it flow fine. But apart from that, you know what I think.
And maybe even when it does occur, you might have to
balance it and do it different. We have to do that already with different people. Then people watching probably don't know.
Yeah,
but many interviews we have done, we have had to do some things differently and tailor to certain situations. Yeah, man, but terror.
Big interview.
None of them can DJ like terror. Me always say that.
Big interview. So,
when I say that, I mean everybody. It don't matter who for you call, they can sit down on a rhythm like terror. Fabulous. Say that already. It's just that terror situation, him not really achieve the levels where he achieve. You understand? Teach me just log on. But what you think about the pastor? Me so reach umbrella man.
I love calling man.
I be umbrella cover man, brother. You understand? Barber in custody after fatal stabbing of a vendor during dispute. I said that presenter sent me that video.
Barber you stab him? Scissors?
I remember when he was having me about it was gruesome, man. I have a video something about, you know, I need to clean my phone because you are going. Remember say everything will go on in this world, you know. Somebody sending come to my phone and everything.
What do I want to be your phone?
A dispute between a barber and a vendor in Ontario St. Ann resulted in one of the men being stabbed to death and the other taken into police custody.
Here we go again.
The deceased has been identified as 21-year-old Daniel Baxter, a vendor of Harrisontown in the parish. Reports from the police are that about 10 a.m., Baxter went to a barber shop in close proximity to where he sold his items from a cart. An argument reportedly developed between him and the barber at the shop, during which Baxter was stabbed. He was assisted to hospital where he died. His alleged attacker is to be questioned by the police as investigations continue into the incident. One argument, then, brother. One argument, just a charge. Bedridden 76-year-old woman brutally stabbed to death. Grandson held. Think he has confessed. Confessed. You know, I'm going to read that article there. That tell the truth. The Trelawney police have taken a 26-year-old man into custody for questioning in connection with the fatal stabbing of his 76-year-old grandmother on Sunday. The deceased has been identified as Violet Walcott of All Sides District in Waitabit, Trelawney. The reports are that on Sunday about 11 p.m., Walcott, who is bedridden, was found in her bed with what appeared to be multiple stab wounds to her head. Her 26-year-old grandson, a farmer of the same address, who was her sole caregiver,
a big man,
was to him at 26. What do you mean if I'm a big man? Was subsequently taken into custody and as a suspect in relation to her murder. He has confessed. I am certain this is what article said, but we never bother read it. One time I can't crowd my brain with all sorts of crap. One time I just say some things and keep it moving, brother. Cops intercept hitmen in St. Andrew. One dead, another injured. This was a big thing. It kind of late now, but it was a big thing because some of the people involved and when they come from an ministry, and you know, we don't really get into them things, but it was a big thing on the social media streets. M16 and pistol bagged after a reported shootout. So the police fatally shot a man who is believed to have been involved in a drive-by murder only minutes before on Thursday night, that would have been last Thursday, after the car he was fleeing the scene was intercepted by law enforcers. So the police were reportedly engaged in a shootout with armed men in the car, after which an illegal M16 assault rifle and a pistol were recovered from the car in which the men were traveling. The men in the car are suspected to have been involved in a drive-by shooting on Lincoln Road in St. Andrew, which left a man dead. A representative of the Corporate Communications Unit, the police's information arm, said the shooting occurred about 7:30 p.m., but indicated that the details were sketchy at the time. Long story.
Oh boy.
Teen robbed. Before me even said that, there was about 2 or so years ago, I read an article where a young male met somebody online. I think he was of the view that the person was a female and left. Then he had to go meet up.
He was catfished.
I don't remember that, but I know he was beaten though. And robbed. And same thing.
I'm not getting know about he died. This person?
No, I don't think he died. Emotionally. Teen robbed and set on fire after meeting man on gay site. A St. James man who reportedly went to Flankers in Montego Bay, St. James last Monday to meet a man he met on a gay dating site is now in hospital in critical condition after he was abducted, robbed, and his penis partially severed and then set on fire.
Wow.
Oh, it all in focus. Come back, that's what I said. According to police investigators, they are now searching for 3 men, including the person the injured 18-year-old man went to meet. According to police reports, the victim told investigators that the man he met on the gay dating site said he was from Flankers and asked to meet at a location in the St. James community last Monday. He reported that upon reaching the agreed spot, he was met by 3 men who abducted him and robbed him of his bank card, cell phone, and other valuables. They then beat him, forcing him to divulge his banking information. According to the police, the victim was held at a location while the men went to an ATM where they tried to use the bank card to withdraw money. I regularly didn't do it.
And at first.
They were unsuccessful, a police officer said, in reference to their attempt to get cash from the man's account. So they returned to where they were holding their victim. And on this occasion, he was forced to transfer money into an account that they gave him. The cops said the men, who were reportedly drinking alcohol, then doused their victim with rum and partially severed his penis before setting him on fire and leaving him to die. He's a very lucky young man because although they left him in a critical condition, he managed to make his way to a security checkpoint in the community where they assisted him to hospital, where he was admitted in critical condition, the policeman stated. The officer said that a scheme in which men went on popular gay sites pretending to be seeking sexual partners would surface in Granville several years ago. I think I said that it go on. But was subsequently dismantled by the police appears to be the blueprint used in this case. This is not the first incident of this nature being dealt with by the police in St. James, the officer noted. There was a similar incident in 2020 where the now deceased 43-year-old Ali Jackson, who worked as a warehouse manager, went on a similar gay dating site and hooked up with an alleged single gay companion who lured him to the retirement community. Jackson, unlike this young man, was not so lucky because on January 29, 2020, he left to meet his supposed gay date during his lunch break, but he never returned to work as he went missing. Cops continued the cop. 1 week after he was reported missing, the police got some leads and discovered Jackson's X-Trail motor vehicle, which was set on fire and abandoned in retirement. This led to one suspect being taken into custody, and Jackson's decomposed body was later found in a shallow grave on a property on the border of retirement and gutters communities. 2 men, 19-year-old Patrick Williams, and 22-year-old Tasiko Vassell, were arrested and charged in connection with Jackson's death. I see him, so the Anglican bishop from Chapeltown, the 2 brothers them were end up kill him. Or some side.
And it's not even just gay site, it's just dating sites overall.
Then so much man could not walk up and down the road and me go on sites and I look man for
Of course.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Let me take out my glass.
Hold on.
Then,
Dating website is a thing, you know.
But me I say me cannot walk past so much man a day, brother. And gone, but me gonna look man online.
Baby, you see a prettier woman online. Me just a say. But it's a thing. Dating website is a thing, sir.
Me just want to say her on the road.
Me realize.
You know, lonely one them and drive by themselves and look lonely. I know I think.
No, but it's a thing, man, where people meet people on websites, sir.
Me not love that.
And I go.
Road me thing there. That's why I'm going to miss all take bus, you know. Be a girl on the bus, you know. You just pick which one you want to sit downside, man. But when I just start teach, see, and then I used to be a whole hour. So of course I used to full of morning time and full of evening time.
Be a girl.
Every day is a new girl, man. I sit down beside her and girl. Build a conversation, go a whole hour, come out.
Can you not too fool, you know, say you can say something.
I can't lose. Nah, John, you know.
Yeah. Shooting the fish in a barrel.
Those were the good old days. I mean, I'm a peak of all. You understand? Wash up there now, man.
You feel a fool.
Yeah. But you know, so we got a road when I was saying, she can't pass me certainly.
You're a fool.
Just introduce yourself and make she laugh one time you do.
You win.
You can't lose. And you start laughing.
Did I tell you again, so you feel a fool.
Bomba! Them time there, teacher cross like a wasp.
That's not what that me said to you. So no go pop us and look people.
People meet. You can't make a girl just have a lonely up on the bus, brother. Then what kind of gentleman you be? The loan you keep her company. You understand? And you know what I mean? It's a new friend. You can't have too much friend. You see me? People meet people on website. Nationwide have a good documentary on the dangers of online dating in Jamaica on their YouTube channel. A very good watch if you have it. Me not got it.
Me tell you, say, online dating is a
Kerry,
thing.
I want to hear them.
Online dating is a
You
thing.
understand? Brother, me not date nobody on the line.
Cause you might be busy and not go out there to meet nobody.
Me not say link never make online, but you see link never make online. People me
What
know
you
before,
know before.
man.
Me get
You
that.
understand? Like some girl that used to study back in high school or college and you see them in the year say, boom, bad. Mama road up you know. You understand? So you're ready. Talk what I can understand, man.
Me not understand. You tell me say me understand, me don't understand. Sure.
Auditor General proposed police probe into $124 million loss at Education Ministry.
Me don't vex about this, cause it kinda, you know? Couple weeks ago, me not vex bad. Me not too vex you know. Yeah, sure.
You know what I want to know? When will officials in Jamaica stop young raping the education
System?
sector?
Anytime
When
it
will
doesn't
they?
exist anymore.
When will they stop raping our children's future?
How much money?
Too much.
124 million.
No, man, that is one instance. See? And Desi said, "Be sure yourself. No, all the things they're going to Desi. You win some, you lose some, and every woman I go want you know. But it's a game of numbers. You understand? You don't know when your number go play. If you not play a game, you don't have no chance. So, and every woman I go want you. And just so you go. But it's a numbers game, man. You win some, you lose some, man. You know what things said. So things said.
Somebody said Education Ministry is the new scam spot.
You see, from Ruel Reid was fired or resigned or them design,
Put on leave.
Grace should have gone as well.
Because she would have been serving with him.
As a matter of fact, before I go any further,
But everybody I get leave with pay.
before me even reach so, it is kind of difficult now not to question the relationship between one Ruel Reid and Mrs. Grace McLean.
Another one scandal. Why scandal then just come? Because like you ever buy the scandal bag in the pack and you try to take off and everyone just join on when you try to take off one and say scandal them are rolling.
Yo,
And I want ministry them are rolling from.
the Prime Minister had a chance to clean the slate when Ruel left,
Was sent
but
down
he
leave.
did not.
And it don't look good. It don't look good. It don't look good none at all.
Auditor General proposes police probe into $124 million loss at Education Ministry.
Auditor General not play. No?
Pamela not play with people. She might
play.
not catch you today, but tomorrow you get checked.
She not play, man. She not drop a catch them.
Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis had suggested them do this since, but you know, it's a preface this guys. It's going to be a little bit of a discussion. That Education Minister Fabian Williams calling the police or a designated anti-corruption body to investigate the loss of $124 million of government funds. No, of taxpayers' money. At a joint committee on the tertiary education, JCTE. I soon come to them. At the same time, the Auditor General has recommended that the Finance Ministry institute surcharge action against 2 senior officers, including the acting permanent secretary, Dr. Grace McLean, on the basis that both officers failed in their fiduciary duty. But we don't know all of that part. We are Not long after that, Grace McLean was sent on leave. But Grace McLean was sent on paid leave.
As
Just
per
like how Rural Reed has been
As
on
per
special leave for 2
As
years
per
now.
But what?
October not done yet.
Me I wait patiently, you know, like how
Me
Jesus wait for a sinner.
Me I wait before you, you wait after me.
It's alright, me stay that line behind you.
You understand?
And remember, my man asked some question and we don't hear
Not yet.
no answer, no comfort yet.
Dr. Grace McLean sent on leave amid $124 million loss at education. You know how much time I sit down here, sir? I'm saying to you, say, how come the court rule said Dean Roy Bernard, former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education,
should
was
be
sent
reinstated
to the Ministry of Finance as some sitting.
Then give him one post.
Or him no
reinstated
as permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education. I have been wondering a long time. But the reason why is because by the looks of it, is that Dean Roy Bernard may not be as clean as he would have led people to believe.
Right, like we need a new...
McLean is at the center of a damaging, report on fiduciary failings surrounding the payment of $124 million to the Joint Committee on Tertiary Education. I was saying to you that just a rough calculation based on all of the money where you say was misappropriated or fleeced or stolen or unaccounted for from the Ministry of Education, it is in excess of $1 billion Jamaican dollars. And you have children who cannot access class because they can't find a tablet or a phone. You have schools where can't facilitate certain things because they don't have nothing.
You have students who can't pay for exams.
Enough exam fee me paying on my teaching journey, you know, brother.
You still have some going to pay.
Enough exam fee.
The sector that they should have been looking to nurture.
Now I say it again. Just a rough calculation. If I top of my head. At least $1 billion Jamaican dollars has been stolen from the education ministry.
Misappropriated.
And nobody know they are prisoner. No!
Everybody they can leave, say I'm gonna get paid.
And if my teeth are black juice tomorrow because I'm thirsty, I get 30 to the life, you know, brother?
You better plead guilty so you only get half a sentence.
She arrived at work about 5:30 a.m. Where do I work so early?
No, man, remember when you push out, you have to go work. Sorry, you can't wait for
But you don't go work, Grace never go work 5:30 in her life.
Teacher, when this
she push, JOTC
when you hear say Pam say, Ray, Sarah, at 4 o'clock, me don't want to reach.
Or should I try to clear out?
No, you couldn't go because you know, say somebody, you have to go answer to somebody now. Because now it's out in the open. It's no longer on the sheets, you know, because Pam throw you out there.
The Auditor General said the senior technocrats failed to ensure that government funds were appropriated in keeping with requisite law and established guidelines and that arrangements were put in place to safeguard government resources. Monroe Ellis reported that McLean permitted the transfer of $11 million to Dr. Cecil Cornwall chaired JCTE after the body became a private entity. But before you go to say, how can one dega man change a government body into a private body?
I am not sure how that little thing goes. That's what I would want to know. That aspect of it, how it transitioned to become a private body. That's the part that
how can you declare a government agency into a private body? So we can declare school into a free school. Scott Williams, I.
You better try it. But I want to know that little part of it. That little part of it where it transitioned to become a private entity and therefore him can
but hold on now. Even after it became a private entity, The Ministry of Education through Permanent Secretary Acting Grace McLean.
Still paid over money.
Millions.
But that's what the thing the auditor said. Why was it paid over even after you said you would have to seek legal counsel to find the way forward? You still went ahead but I think they said it was back money.
Backdoor money.
No, not the door. Me never see the door upon it when me read it. Just a back money, as in money that was owed in the back to be paid.
How many fork and cutlass and spray pan and then sitting there you have as a teacher agriculture?
You don't get enough. You just get enough to do what you have to do.
Easily?
Remember saying, no, sir, anything you do, you get requisition, pan top of requisition, and you get how much, you have to get how much quote from different places before you decide who you're going to purchase on.
You see, the Ministry of Education situation falls squarely at the feet of the Prime Minister.
That's what John Public has been saying.
I mean, I talk because he is Prime Minister. I talk because he had the opportunity, Keita Scott, that's to wipe the ministry clean.
Start afresh. Plant new
He
seeds.
would have known that the circumstances under which Grace McLean became permanent secretary was questionable.
How would he have known? I'm just asking.
Know.
I'm just asking, would he have known?
If he did not know, he would have been reneging on his responsibility as chief minister in the country. Whilst you will give a ministerial responsibility for a portfolio, you are still ultimately responsible for ensuring that the man they do what I'm supposed to do.
And that is correct, and I'm not saying no. But that still not saying no.
Scotty, when Pamela first dropped it back on rural and India, things were being said. As a matter, Grace named that call.
Oh, I'm not. We never.
What do you mean?
So closely.
Everybody named down there that call.
You can't find your going there. Building your name might.
So it means then that the Prime Minister would have had some form of knowledge of the situation.
Or maybe should have been doing some checks and balances to see. But then again, maybe. I'm just saying maybe here.
Me understand, man.
Maybe he could not what would you say now? Intervene, because they would have been, my mums would have been working. Same if you allow her to unearth all that is there.
All if you didn't left and kind of Pamela they're still finding evidence.
True.
Because from the Pamela find it.
She find it though, teacher. I will not put down nothing for she can look for him.
But you'll find more because there is more.
She will find things.
CMU,
You don't look good.
ministry done.
You don't look good. You don't look good. None at all, teacher.
Now I'll tell you what go on. Let me tell you what ask more go on.
What go on? You love tell me if you ask a question though.
Yeah, but I love answer. You see when Rural sent Dean Ryan Bernard over finance ministry and push up Grace, and put Grace in a Dean Ryan place. For all things lose trace. I'm going right up to the time.
No matter
while I commit crime.
No matter.
And taxpayers you can't get a dime. Right now they can't even get a milk and a Nutribullet. Because then the money gone over the Monday too. A Ministry of Education that fall on, you know.
But you know, see my the man from there so now.
Lie up.
Lie up, so.
And everybody lawyer safe, you know. That's why people they are in prison. But me I say, this is when someone I got prison about ya.
Not in our lifetime.
Me I plan to live a while, you know.
They're not, still not in our lifetime. I always hear that there's two set of laws in Jamaica. One for the poor man and one for the rich man. Because if a poor man thief some money, teacher, which leave him over and paid? Which leaf you go planting? You know, organization or you know one sector, you want to look at nobody. And you take some money where no fear. Which leaf you go planting? To be fair. I know everybody go pan leave paid. People they pan leave 2 years, 3 years. People are trying to go pan it 5 more years.
A vacation, Grace the pan. Grace don't feel getting a pay. Until the things sort out.
Then put stop order pan them.
I don't know. I don't like them charge her for nothing, so they have put a stop order pan her.
Yes, I know. It just disheartening, yeah.
Man, they comment.
It disheartening, man. Especially when you're in the sector and you see, when you're in the system itself and you see how broken the system is and you know look money and go far away to help.
But how much money me say man them thief? Over $1 billion. What we hear about already. Because rest assured that somewhere along the line, some more money gone already and Pamela not find it yet.
Yet. That's the operative word. She don't find it yet.
You know what Grace McLean should have done? Resign.
But that's what should have happened from the very first case. Resign. But
the court for rules said Dean Ryan Bernard will go back there and Grace are still permanent secretary over here now.
But remember we would have been asking, say, why am I gone over back? We have been asking that. Because even when we stream, I had the discussion when Robinson posed the questions. We were saying to our next question that should be asked is why Dean Ryan not gone back in an post? If the courts rule that is to be reinstated, why not?
They have secret with Dean Ryan.
Everybody have secret.
Invest. Big up yourself and brother.
Good night. Invest.
See you trouble upon the gravel, you know. Realize you have to do the road and all. So I appreciate the continued service to the country. Here, sir. When will our political leaders be decisive?
Not in our lifetime.
You know what I love, watch out. Monroe Ellis reported that McLean permitted the transfer of $11 million to the Dr. Cecil Cornwall chair JCTE after the body became a private entity. And I am trying to figure out how can a single man.
Continue reading.
The JCTE was the entity that shocked officials last year after it became private, but for some strange reason, I remember seeing her here about this.
I have no recollection of it.
The first time I see this, I went Pamela.
No man, 2019 February, we're busy then time.
Yeah, but me and still I keep a track on. Man, certain little things said to you, brother. Remember, say me I stream every week, see me, you know.
One week, I think I make you myself.
It became private in February of 2019, blocking the Auditor General's investigation into the use of government funds. Connected because the Auditor General can't investigate a private entity.
No, sir.
She only have authority for government agencies.
Correct, sir. You are correct.
So quickly, it became private. But again, how can a
we have to go here or turn over into private.
Blocking the Attorney General's investigation into the use of government funds connected to the Caribbean Maritime University scandal. In July of 2020, McLean told the PAC members that she first became aware that the JCTE had become a private entity when the Auditor General requested information from the entity and the documents could not be provided. But hold on. So Grace no make no sense then. Because if Grace is permanent, the most powerful person in the ministry is the permanent secretary. And you are telling me, say, an entity that is supposed to be a government entity became private and as permanent secretary.
You didn't
You don't
know
that?
because she said February 2019 and she said in July she was made aware of it.
You see, I want to say some things, I say.
No, but
I
say
can't say it.
no.
But desire, I can continue.
Ma.
Michelle, over there.
McLean
said she wrote letters to no avail.
Mm-hmm.
The permanent secretary wrote letters to a government entity to no avail.
Remember, it's not a government entity anymore. Continue reading.
Remember that? Because that's gone all too far.
Come on down.
Yes. The acting permanent secretary said, after discovering that the JCTE had become a private entity, she curtailed the arrangement that was in place with the ministry. McLean said she wrote to the chairman on June 8, 2020, stating that the ministry could no longer continue the previous arrangement, now that it had changed its status to a private entity. How? In the special audit report tabled in Parliament, Monroe Ellis stated that the arguments of Cornwall, the permanent secretary, and McLean were unacceptable. That is not the word.
I agree with
Them
you.
is something else. But is that right? She charged that Cornwall did not have the authority to privatize a government entity. I said, I could privatize school, because since I privatize my privatized thing. How can one man have the power to privatize a government?
Just go some random place and just privatize it. Because it look like a side work.
May I ask a question again?
How was it
How
done?
is it possible for Mr. Cornwall to privatize a government agency?
And how it took 1 year
For the permanent secretary
to realize that it was privatized.
Teach them ball out. Me not ball out there. Yo. Samba, we not talk about say what? How? That we are talking about. We are say how, brother. Yeah, man, we know that. We know why, Samba.
We know the why. The
but
why is in the
overarching
article.
question
How?
is how was that even possible?
The why is this, is the audit, is the why.
What Anthony and this is just privatize the JCF then. And Gorman for just privatize the military. Since they're private, we are private things.
Please.
Since as everybody can private things about it.
Go and read. Go and read. When I reach one nice part down the bottom of the road, come up on here.
She charged that Cornwall did not have the authority to privatize a government entity.
Thanks.
The chairman's private entity is separate and apart from the JCTE, Special Advisory Committee established by the Ministry of Education. You know what? Who established the JCTE?
Hold on. Read that again.
The chairman's private entity, so apparently you have a private thing.
It's separate and apart.
Is separate and apart from the JCTE, Special Advisory Committee, established by the Ministry of Education.
So this is Honorable Fabian.
No Ministry of Education, miss?
Okay.
It should be noted that the acting permanent secretary permitted the transfer of $11 million to JCTE after her failed attempt to obtain the accounting records from the chairman, despite knowing that the chairman laid claims that he is the owner of the company and refused to comply with the Auditor General's request for information. But you, as the permanent secretary, doctorate and all, give this man $11 million of taxpayers' money after him said him privatize him thing. After you, as the permanent secretary, the most powerful person in the Ministry of Education, I request documentation from a man who's supposed to honor the auspices of the Education Ministry, and he said, nah, here none. You still give me 11 mil. Suppose you did get them. 22 million he didn't get. But one of people really so are going in this Adalios.
Me don't want people really read the article. Like this article, me just have to shake my head. This article here outlined it clear as day.
Monroe Ellis said that her department submitted a draft report on the JCTE in the Ministry of Education on June 22nd, 2021. She said the ministry responded to the draft on June 29th, so that's 7 days. The Auditor General said that McLean did not provide any additional supporting documentation as part of that response.
Manuel Ellis now hold no punches.
However, McLean submitted additional supporting documents on October 6, June, July, August, September, October.
Should just get you onto it. She did busy. School just open my back.
School home in June and July, brother. August.
She did busy, man.
When we there now? Right.
October.
This one, yeah. After being provided with a copy of the report that was scheduled to be sent to Parliament. So that is when she sent out some things because she realized I think I got Parliament and all that. Me see this long, me read the article.
No, me read the article.
Okay.
You know what me read it, but me
You
never
never pick
catch
up
that
that.
sentence.
Me
though.
not miss, I'm
Me not catch that
not
sentence.
missing a thing.
Me never catch that sentence. There. So that's it was after that it was provided. Alright, do our thing.
The documents submitted included payment vouchers prepared by the ministry supported by invoices prepared by the JCTE. I advised the acting permanent secretary that the information is insufficient, as the documents provided do not represent suppliers' invoices, which are required to determine how the funds were utilized. Grace McLean should not have been sent on leave. She should have been fired forthwith. And then the law take its course from this one.
I never said that article.
Yeah, man. Me not miss none of them, brother.
Basically same thing.
Yeah, so minister urged to call in cops as Bernard and McLean under scrutiny. See? That one I can also look at details where because they show the link with NHD. Oh yeah, swear for.
Remember we say man to get back
in
place?
Right.
Yeah. Because we said the courts would have ruled in his favor.
And the article is long. We can't but.
So why am I going back over? A long time we asked.
From the beginning, from the court rule, me I say alright, Dean Wright gone back, you know. Oh, they send him over finance ministry as director general and a position or what the name say.
I make them make it. I make one.
Ruel just asked, who did the finance minister at the time? Manayard?
Supposed to.
Just ask her if he build something for you.
All that.
Williams asks FID and the police to probe the 124 million loss at the education ministry. So education minister, poor Fabian. Fabian Williams has written to the Financial Investigation Division asking that it probes the multi-million-dollar loss at her ministry surrounding payments to the Joint Committee of the Tertiary Education, JCTE.
Go on.
You see the article when I just read, when I skip through, when I say, there are some revelations in that, very long.
I can read it after.
See? The ministry has also written to the police and the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA, offering to provide any information they need in their probe. Now, that time the acting permanent secretary Grace McLean went on leave following the Auditor General's report. Blah, blah, blah. You understand? And some more blah, 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 blah. Following the receipt of the Auditor General's recommendations, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information The Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Honorable Fabian Williams, formally referred the matter to the Chief Technical Director of the Financial Investigations Division, FID, in a letter dated October 7, 2021, at 1 day after.
Good reaction time.
Minister Williams also wrote to the Director General of MOCA, Colonel Desmond Edwards, in a letter dated October 14, 2021, indicating the Ministry of Education's availability to provide any information needed by the agency to aid in its investigation. The Jamaica Constabulary Force's Acting Commissioner of Police was also alerted to the AG's report.
Everybody are play. Let me ask you, because you love when I ask you questions. Let me go ahead and
ask. Tell if you ask me.
Let me go ahead and ask you, sir. You think anything will come of it?
I hope you will then get prison. But knowing the dispensation of justice in Jamaica, which is there's no dispensation.
Slap on the wrist.
Or pat on the back.
Yeah. Bad girl, you shouldn't have done that.
Oh, bad girl. What a bad girl you were. Please do better next time.
Lord have mercy upon us.
No coincidence. Bernard says, who say?
Mr. Bernard?
Mr. Bernard. Let me pronounce it properly. Mr. Bernard says JCTE privatization occurred the week after he was transferred.
Excuse me. What are you saying now? What?
Said I had a close one yesterday.
What are you saying now?
Jah put an angel over me. Be strong. Well, a firm meditation. Stop reading the article.
No, my
one
interest
day,
is.
Things must. We know you don't see it. Must get better.
I didn't see it, you know.
Don't you go down. Keep your head above the water. Anonymous. Thanks for the contribution, yes, sir. Yeah, give thanks. We know you don't see it, man.
They ain't see where I'm going.
Just cool, man. Easy one, easy one. Sideline Permanent Secretary Deanwar Bernard has charged that the privatization of the controversial Joint Committee of the Tertiary Education, JCTE, was, as a matter of fact, you see before this, I not even didn't know so you have a JCTE in education, brother. The first time me hear about it when Pamela
talk about it.
Got parliament, you know. He man them have a million different committee and agency and this and that and
that's how it works, right? A 3-card man.
Was affected shortly after his exit as Chief Accounting Officer of the Ministry of Education and blamed the blurring of lines by Cecil Cornwall for the simmering scandal.
You know, simmer. How am I talking about
Bernard made his claims in the wake of his successor, Acting Permanent Secretary Dr. Grace McLean, being sent on leave of absence Wednesday, less than 24 hours after the tabling of a damning report by Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis, alleging impropriety by both in the payment of $124 million to the by the ministry to the JC.
Wow, Bernard George just said.
A major probe is expected to begin shortly. Probe started already. Then something. Bernard said that before he was transferred from the Education Ministry, he was dealing with the JCTE as a public entity comprising principals and vice principals of tertiary bodies because it kind of work like that.
Yeah, man. We know the purpose of it.
Okay. Come on, me there for research. I never know.
Know the purpose of it.
The week after I left the ministry, the 22nd of February 2019, the JCTE was privatized.
You have a specific date to you.
That's the day when he left. No, the week, yes.
There is
no coincidence because there was the idea that it would morph into a private entity and would not account for funds transferred to it.
Then that's why we know that's the why.
Bernard, who has taken the government to court,
we know that.
over his transfer, said the JCTE would have performed its function up to his departure in February 2019. He argued that the nub of the Auditor General's concern was not that the JCTE he ought not to have obtained those funds at the time, but that there was no oversight of how the money was spent. There is nothing to say that work was done and money passed, and there was no value for money. It is the stiff-neckedness of the chairman, Dr. Cecil Cornwall, that is creating a mess. That is just a part of it.
Because, you know, like basically I said, nothing.
You know, I try to see if
no hanky-panky occurred.
On the one hand, he's saying he is private, but he continues to use the government's TRN. Why is he still allowed to use the government's TRN? Scotty, if me and you in a relationship and you have access to my bank account, which can happen, but say I have access to my bank account, and we left. Then I put why you still use my bank account.
But teacher, the bank account affiliation I forget remove even before we left good. Cause we know say we are left. You know you are left me. So you said, sir, look how much man I left them wife and then sell off what them for sell.
And sort out them
stash
thing.
it where sort out them thing before the breakup occur.
Them still have meat.
So you know say breakup a come. So what?
Watch this now, we're not done yet. What me there?
Alright.
Milan, see document again?
Dina, I see him document, man.
Right. So in the special audit report, you don't know all of them something already. Bernard said he had done nothing wrong. Nothing that he did not see a copy. Well, noting that he did not see a copy of the Auditor General's report until the document was tabled in Parliament. In a pre-dawn appearance at the Education Ministry on Wednesday, Grace McLean went to Ear Circle's office to collect some items. The office of the Prime Minister said on Wednesday, is it the office there? Wednesday evening that Maureen Dyer, or Dwyer, I think I Dwyer. Maureen Dwyer, Chief Inspector of the National Education Inspectorate, will assume McLean's acting role effective that day. The government anticipates that the investigations will be thorough and expeditious. Prime Minister Andrew Holness's office said. How would I say it? But enough it for here. In a report, Monroe Ellis had revealed that based on her trust financial records, $75 million was transferred to the JCTE between September 2017 and 2018, a 1 year that, to train 250 students in the Occupational Associate Degree program. At the same time, the decision to transfer funds directly to the JCTE in order to fund a unit within the Education Ministry was questionable, said Monroe Ellis, given that the project charter gave management responsibility for the program to the ministry via the Center of Occupational Studies. The Auditor General reported that the R Trust could not confirm that the $75 million transfer to the JCT was utilized to provide funds to the Center of Occupational Study in the ministry as stipulated by the project. So they don't know where the money used to do. A big old party shop this is, brother. 70, how much? $75 million. So the article we never read a lot of this in it. Okay. This long and one art super we go read. Mr. Fritz Pinnock can really read name.
Yes,
yeah, man, the Papa title. Ruel was Education Minister. Fritz Pinnock did still there maritime. I'm tired of that.
But why not? Why not open the books and show what the money was used for? If there was no hanky-panky.
Who said there was no hanky-panky?
I'm saying, if there was no hanky-panky, why not just open the books, show what the money was used for?
You can't open the book because there was indeed hanky-panky.
Oh boy.
Make I move on. House passes NIDS bill.
They're all friend and
Scott.
couple. Oh Right.
Jamaica is one step closer to nothing, to implementing a new identification system. Following the passage of the National Identification and Registration Act 2021 in the House of Representatives on October 30th. I have not read that piece of legislation as it, and I'm meaningfully there. I trust it. The National Identification System NIDS will provide a comprehensive and secure structure to enable the collection and storage of identity information. The secure voluntary tool can also verify an individual's identity, facilitate the electronic signing of documents, and securely access a range of government services online. In April of 2019, the Constitutional Court highlighted deficiencies in the previous 2017 Act, and there were many. However, these have been fully addressed in the new legislation. The bill, which has undergone several adjustments, consultations, and a joint select committee since, was passed with 14 amendments with the support of the opposition. And them something there. See? So, NIDS pass. We are going to watch and see. I can't go into that.
So, you want cookie the crumb.
Yeah. And thing. So, NIDS is supposed to be that one means of identification where you have everything under it.
Yep.
So, make we see it go. And whilst I have said that it will aid a lot of things, we still have concerns about who will have access to the data
to the information.
and all of them something there. Because in Jamaica, you can't trust people.
I know, this hacking and thing going around.
But it's not even the hacking. It's
All
just
that
that
data.
it's just that officials in this country are. Let me take this opportunity to express, my gratitude to the people of St. Thomas for the sterling work they did in tracking down and rescuing the two little girls, 9-year-old Felisa Persia and 13-year-old Winchie Barrett. I am sure that it couldn't have been easy. It would have taken a lot of coordination and effort, and it is a sign that says that if and when we as a people come together, we can achieve what we want, instead of this constant fighting and segregation and separation and he say, she say, and politicking. Yeah? Whilst the abductor, or the suspected abductor, is still on the run, I am happy that the two girls are home. I am still waiting on some information as to certain details and stuff. However, that said, the residents in St. Thomas, especially in Bath and Yalas, have been hot on the search for Davian Brian. And they are hell-bent on finding him. But in doing so, there was always a risk that somebody else may end up in their crosshairs, and in the pursuit for justice, some injustices may be meted out, and so said so done. When I was younger, I was all for jungle justice. But as I grew older and a little bit wiser, I realized that whilst if you catch a man in the act and you give it to him, fine. But whilst on the hunt to mete out jungle justice, innocent people can easily be killed. And I remember doing a video on it, and some people were kind of offended. Every video we do, some people offend.
Yeah,
just need a here and a there for me. If you choose to watch it and get offended, that's your business. You understand? And we saw where a gentleman was killed in St. Thomas. And that's rough, brother.
It's sad.
See? That really rough. Murdered man mistakenly identified as child abductor was not mentally ill, family says. So there were words that say that he was mentally ill. So the family of Levi Chambers, the man who was killed by a mob in St. Thomas after being mistakenly identified as a suspect in the abduction of 2 girls in the parish, is refuting claims that he was mentally ill. Leonard Chambers says is he's unclear how his brother ended up in Landui where he was attacked. Let me set the record straight. My brother is not mentally ill. So if them are going to use that as a scapegoat or a clause, them can forget about that, he declared. Him have so many ideas on him that you could have searched him. You could have asked him what he's about in the community. Question him. You don't just kill a man and then you ask him question after. Because the question when you go ask him now can answer if you kill him before. Mr. Chambers said it hurt to know his brother had condemned the abduction of the 2 girls in Bath, only to lose his life because of the same incident. It is reported that the residents saw Levi Chambers walking along Landui Main Road, stopped him and asked who he was. Mr. Chambers allegedly ran and was chased. And people are going to say, why him run? Him could have just panic and run, you know?
Panic, sir, fear. Fear, and run.
He ran into bushes and across the Yalas River, where he was held by the mob and stabbed several times in the abdomen. The St. Thomas police are reviewing footage from Wednesday's attack on Mr. Chambers, and Superintendent Alison Byfield, commanding officer for the St. Thomas Police Division, said investigators do not yet have leads on who was behind the murder, but are hoping the video clippings will assist in identifying those involved. And I'll take this opportunity to remind people that, for example, DJ Quada is in front of the courts on murder charge from a mob situation. I remember the little girl in, I think, Erie Castle. Well, there. Remember the little girl that was kidnapped going from school, man, and
I don't remember that case.
Sterling Castle.
I remember that.
Yeah, man. And them light one also one brother in there who apparently is mentally ill and burn it down, and he died, and he
is said to be a part of the mob.
He was charged.
Okay.
Him still there at court.
Okay.
Sterling Castle.
It's sad that this man lost his life in such a way. That's sad. And
as I said before, whilst we are in the pursuit for justice, we cannot become unjust.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I wouldn't mind help hold the brother there, Brian. But if you are old Brian, make sure you say Brian you are old brother. You can't just hold any random man and chop him up or stab him up.
Exactly.
So the question for people, why him run? The man, people stop him and ask him certain, like, some people deal with things differently. Man probably just panic and just run.
When I'm like they're panicking and run.
And I understand the need of the people there to rid the communities of the brother, you know. You understand? But as I'm saying, we cannot become unjust in our pursuit for justice.
In complete agreement with that.
But whilst I said that, as I said, well done to the people of Springbank and Yalas and Bath and all the communities that rallied
together
in search for Felisa and Winshay. Like, we appreciate them because those two situations could have ended totally different. Yeah, huh?
Sir? Could have ended so gruesome.
People, whilst we are trying balance the thing, we can't become unjust. You understand? We can't attack random people where we don't have certain information on. If a Brian in a hole, then that's different, brother. The police should have dispersed the mob. The police never did it, brother. The police them come after the man up on the ground and bleed out. The police wasn't there. The police came and took him to the hospital. So it's not like it was a police search party.
And,
It was just residents.
Sir, who saw the man? And
So-
I saw a comment where somebody was saying that the police enabled it because they were loading up van with men with machete. At that time they were going to search
They
for
were
the
searching the
girls,
girls,
so
yeah.
you needed machete to chop through the bushes to go in. It's not like it's a PF clean road they were going into. They were going to hillsides. So you have naturally you have to chop out to find your way to go in.
That man they couldn't be before they just got him. Man they couldn't be somebody who know. Yeah.
Who that? Tall boy farmer?
Let him here.
Hey.
What one you want?
A tall boy?
Big up yourself, man. So yesterday news broke that one of the main suspects in the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse was in custody in Jamaica. And I saw people saying all sort of things, you know. See it? And
All sorts of things like that.
some negative things. But I, for one, looked at it positively. This is how I saw it. We know that our borders are porous. Yeah?
Porous is not even a word to describe it.
And pervious. See? Geospeak. However, it better we catch him. Like people, so then catch him and say, oh, whatever, we should know about catch him. We don't know about catch him.
Why?
That is how it came across. Like, oh, what am I do? Hope the government? No, the government. Brother, the police them arrest him, man. Give the police them look plan.
Yeah, man. Then do something.
It's like the police they not bother catch him.
Why?
Then we don't do it with that.
Just allow him to go and lounge.
My social media breaks still on, you know, but they kind of I try to get some info on it. And I see some I say, yo, like the police them can't do nothing good about it, brother.
So wait, is it that they're trying to insinuate that
Brother,
authorities know
yes,
he was
that's
here?
one. Secondly, all sort of crap. What I think is that he was en route back home. And he was using Jamaica as a transit point. Because a Colombian come from.
So go back.
So we shouldn't bother locking him. I mean, what never mind. As deportation loomed, Haitian assassination suspect was under average security. Kind of, but you will understand soon. Plans for the deportation of Mario Antonio Palacios. Me I try to figure out where I'm up to. Yes.
Maybe because of where him come from, cylinder.
Me I wonder if him father married to his sister. I don't know. Sitting straight. I don't know. But I know Colombian ballers. I don't know them have no two surname. Really social. One of the key suspects behind the July 7th assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse were in train when they were serendipitously scuttled. Are we right, this one? When the high-profile target in one of the hemisphere's most notorious modern murders was red flag, sources say. So they had him in custody and a plan to deport him, and then the Interpol notice reached. Palacios, a former Colombian military officer who was initially arrested for illegal entry, was detained on Monday, October 11th. It's been a minute. So they were like yesterday, they might be minute, right? And may have escaped a global dragnet had the red notice issued by Interpol come days later. The Colombian had his day in the Jamaican court on October 15 and was reportedly fined $8,000 or 5 days imprisonment. The monkey lad. I see him like here boy from the cruise ship.
A stealing girlfriend. No, you.
Sources also confirmed that Palacios was being held at a lockup in the hills of St. Andrew North Police Division. The Haitian National Police reported that Palacios left Colombia for the Domrep on Friday, June 4th via El Dorado Airport. He was on the same Avianca flight with other members of the suspected assassination commandos. Further reports are that Palacios arrived at Punta Cana International Airport at 6:10 p.m. and he departed for Haiti by a car was registered on June 16 on the Carizal border post. Policemen at the Lawrence Tavern lockup were surprised to learn that the suspect had been in their midst for days under standard security oversight. Like regular, because they never know who. Yeah, son? That's funny. Though being listed by Haitian authorities as very dangerous and with the public warned to be careful, he has been here. And we expected that he would have left our custody a day earlier. But lo and behold, we heard via news reports today that the main suspect in the assassination of the Haitian president was in fact a policeman said. The cop's identity could not be disclosed because he is not authorized to speak on the high-level security matter. Him speak, no. Yo, Jaja. Reports are that even up to Thursday, as representatives of the Colombian embassy made calls to the Lawrence Tavern police station requesting information. In the afternoon of July 7th assassination, Haitian police that's not important. Now, it is believed that he entered Jamaica through one of the island's more than 140 informal ports of entry. So you got them coming, most of them, brother. It has not been ascertained if any of the other commanders arrived in Jamaica with Palacios. I don't know if you know that, you know. We don't know how he got here, but it wasn't through the formal system, said the source, who did not want to be named because the details of the arrest are being guarded closely. Now, according to one source, he was arrested without incident at a guest house in central Jamaica. I think he was arrested in St. Mary. Okay. Yes. And them something. So when I need to ID, them they're not secret. No.
So where is he going to be sent to? Colombia, Haiti?
I don't know. That not in this. You understand? Because something they want him. Palacios was taken to the Lawrence Tavern police station because it is one of a number of gazetted COVID-19 constabulary centers for the quarantine of new prisoners. And the counter-terrorism and organized crime, I guarantee you saying that they said no more. Crime investigation branch is understood to have been. So Palacios was whisked away to an undisclosed location late Thursday afternoon, obviously. You understand? And Thursday's transportation under the watchful eyes of a party of 10 was a whirlwind change to when he was transported to the corporate area parish court. Police and court staff informed reporters. And he couldn't do a lot of stuff on them.
Yeah, man. Your man never take you out.
I am happy he was caught. Yeah, sir. So reports are that he was, because they said that, I read an article that said that he was under some surveillance because he was making preparations to leave the island. So I don't know who did I watch him. But I saw them pick him up at the guest house. So, you know what I think about. Yeah. No.
You're not letting me 100K?
You want 100K for the
book me seat.
Probably. Yeah. So me ask you again, you think so me I use food make my money and dash you with trouble?
And dash you, brother. You want me experience.
So when you're going
the
to
novelty.
When you're going to act and then cut a throat to make back my money.
Yeah, you know, if you just make
take off.
I run before.
Yeah, take off whosoever the by insurance policy and put me on it. Okay. You're a fool.
Why? Yeah. Have you take bad things make joke?
No. You know the video, the red flag video. I want to say, well, at Jamaica watch the video now. I want me to do video me there, so I just do video because everybody running for the video, the topic already and but me just do a video, just something different.
Red flag settings.
I mean, Sarah, you go on. You know, red flag is a thing that has been trending. Because I remember say, I have 3 degrees like this already. You understand?
No, sir.
But I'm not so fool. So I say, you know, red flag is a thing. From people say red flag, then good as watch it. You understand? And I kind of scour all of that. Because I don't know guideline people, you know. So most of what is in mainstream media, I just go through it and pick out some. Because we can do one part 2 and part 3 red flag, you know. But that's the one next part 2. I want if people go watch it. When I watch it, let me know if I watch it. But say I know. Me there. I want me there. Monday morning. Cause a Monday morning the news kind of break like you know, a late Friday, Saturday night, Sunday night I start hear people are talk about it. I remember I asked them to come 9:30 Monday morning. And when I wake up, I start to see some picture that I tell us that people send me everything. Sometimes I have to see things, there's so much things coming. And me I say, nah man, I want really go on about this. And information are coming. Cause I'm whole off a little bit, you know. I make some calls, I'm try to make some checks and then something and I see some things and yeah, so business going on, I'm gonna be a brother. And I don't even know where to start this thing from. Like the information is out there already. Like most people know what go on. You understand? Cow and goat and animals with that. No, but sis, you know how we feel about church already and pastors and all that. You understand? That's not a secret. Anybody know me know that because I don't hide that. Zine and religion on a little level. Whilst I think you can show reverence in your own space, in your own time and express your views to your creator, the church thing kind of rub me wrong with for many different reasons. Mm-hmm. Ask me why.
I'm not asking you why.
But they will tell us here. So now wickedest people that we know?
Church. A
church then go. You understand? But separated apart from that. Mm-hmm. My next thing is that me don't know no yes there are those. Me don't know no poor pastor. Every pastor me know rich. Okay. And in a them church, you have people who can't feed them pitney and I give them their money as offering. Mm-hmm. And pastor drive SUV and live in a mansion. And when rain fall, and you rain fall, that make no sense to me. See? Also, pastors have become so powerful that they wield extreme influence over their congregation. I have seen cases where pastors have pleaded guilty to sexual offense. And the congregation, so them still stick by them pastor because it was just a moment of indiscretion and they know for a long time the pastor sexy little girl and little boy. You understand what I say? Mm-hmm. So you can't preach one thing to me and I do the next thing. I not depend that. And then now this because you're the first we come across brother. Mm-hmm. Somebody sent me one video where I talk about say Canada pass law say your driver's license can't go be. Now picture now the pan again is a QR code and the QR code is in the vaccine and all that sitting there. Till in stock. Come here listening you know. Cause he's very well spoken. Even though I kind of have a little thing to him well spoken, so kind of rub me wrong way too. But that's the next story for your next time. Mm-hmm. Him start talking about one flood where I come. And the dog go say, only thing that he knows can cause a flood is a tsunami. And then me I say, when me go to school, we go to the G and this man only so rain no cause flood. But he must say tsunami. And then the dog say tsunami where I come, a man go make it cause a harp. You understand? Mm-hmm. So me stop listening. So after that now, I even didn't know who him be and I didn't know him is a pastor. So when me see this thing come out now, I say, and I start hear some things where man say in a church. And I wonder, how can adults, forget about the children then, because them people care them. How adults sit and listen, the verbal diarrhea where come out of this man mouth as a man of the cloth, a man of God. And people sit down and laugh and clap. Big man and woman was they're sensible. Teachers, head of intelligence bureau for an era one police division place. Other police officers, soldier, not that police officer and soldier, but me as one teacher did it. God man. I want the teacher them. See? I wanted to say the teacher is the wife of the investigation bureau man. Okay. Yeah. So people who are supposedly intelligent were there sitting down. Mr. the pastor tell woman to tap make up them face like when pum pum vex with smaddy or sitting.
I don't see that video there.
I eat their front of the video I do today since evening. I would have video there though.
I don't see that video. And while you know my opinion,
Me don't know.
me can't beat the church.
Why you can't beat the church?
No.
Church you get
Because, sir.
Don't be a church apologist around here.
Hold
no.
on, man, sir. You cannot broad
I mean,
brush
look here. The moment you stop paying tithes to me and you can't turn it
You can't broad brush, man. We cannot agree for it to be broad brush and just label the church, so. Sir, we would have had discussions that...
no discussion.
We would have had discussions that people need to start look for themselves. So you are telling me, say, you as a grown-ass individual, as you say, sit down in the congregation. And when me know of church and the esteem when in my mind me hold my pastor too. I'm members of the clergy.
Yeah,
and you go up there and that you preach and me sit down in there with you.
So now a church.
And I church, no sir, and I church.
So who make a church? No people in a congregation make a church.
You can't broad brush a church.
What do you mean?
The man.
You mean use a narrow brush?
The man is the problem. And the fool them was sit down and listen to the man. Is the problem. So the whole problem is seen because of the individual, the me.
Me a listening, but right now you need to go up on the ark, Go on talk. What you say?
Me a borrow money from you, let me. So me
go you spoon up the money and that shit.
The man is the problem, sir. The man mad. And the people then fool.
The man is not mad.
Sir, you
The
can't...
man is a genius. Now put it to you. Hold on now. Scotty, mad where?
Teacher.
Are you mad? Watch out. First thing, the man has a doctorate in psychology. He used that to manipulate and to control and mad this that.
You know much mad doctor this.
The man no mad. A smart, the man smarter than them. The man tell you say if you go lay down on concrete and yam 2 dumpling and mackerel soup.
Sir, the man mad than the people them fool.
If you pay 100,000, the man make $7 million right off my back.
Right, them why you lend me 100,000 because be do what me not doing it.
100 slap. See it?
Me know what me do is no, say more mackerel and dumpling, me know where to go to eat mackerel and dumpling. Me have it at me yard.
Yeah, fool.
Me have to pay $100,000 to go eat mackerel and dumpling. Sitting on bus wrong up here, sir.
But Scotty, do not underestimate his
influence that he
ability to manipulate those people who are trying to be a part of something that they consider to be greater than themselves. That is how
you become so desperate to become a part of something that you pay 100,000 for going mackerel and dumpling.
Because he is a master of manipulation.
Sir, desperate people then
and
desperate
appealing to people's insecurities.
Desperate then desperate.
Look here. The people them in society, in my opinion, that are closest to pastors, is who? You know who?
No.
Politicians. Are the same thing politicians do?
Pray on your weakness, your insecurities.
And you're insecure. And that me I tell you.
Why?
How can big people, Mama, watch it. Let me show you some of my things, some of my red flag. Then, can you look like an ass? I mean, I'll go far from it, because you could have cut out my throat. Watch it.
I pray for you.
Mama, while the girl with her throat cut first, she took steps to remove her mother who gave birth to her and her son who she gave birth to from her insurance policy to put on umbrella man.
I heard that. Then they're desperate, you're desperate.
Desperate for what?
To please umbrella man.
Why?
I wouldn't know. I don't know the relationship they were having.
Empress went to a loans agency and borrowed $400,000 to give to umbrella man who live lavish.
She got it to give to him?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
The only reason why umbrella man is not the beneficiary upon the thing because some local errors upon it, because you and me know how that's something they go.
Cross and the eye them never that.
Eh? What could lead you as a female for a man where you're not related to, if you go take off door and your son when not born yet, for your insurance policy, if you take off policy, for your insurance policy, and put on umbrella man. Then that makes sense to you? Umbrella man, I tell you say you can't talk to Auntie Mar and Marva and obey them because them are leader astray. Your own family them. Umbrella man. Eh? Umbrella man, if you sit down and have a discussion about some problem with umbrella man, a 50 US dollar. If it's a spiritual encounter or where next one? Not remember the next one. But a 350 US dollar. Then what kind of man of God is this?
He's not a man of God.
Then he's a man of who?
I don't know, but I can't.
So who him a preach to you about?
Who he say him is for, sir?
Yeah, you're a fool, you know.
Is who him say him is for. But he could be a man of God.
Brother.
He could be a man of God. See, yes, man, they tell the tab call him man pastor. Him man is a con man.
The man a pastor, brother.
The man is a con man.
No, coming out technicalities, James, but the man got church, go preach him a pastor. Come here, people say, yo, stop calling the place church. So what? People get congregate there and a worship and the name of Christianity. It's a church. It's not a mosque or a synagogue.
Definition of a church.
It's not a mosque or a synagogue or a where is them name? I don't even remember where is them name because it's already a long time. It is a church, I mean it's a pastor. So you mean the man and a pastor? The man a preach the word of God. So on the top tell me say the man and a pastor.
The man not preach no word of God. No way God tell if you take $100,000 you go give people dumpling and
the man said, God tell him say there's going to be a flood. Come on, no.
Somebody, what would you be doing on my insurance, sir?
Eh? So as me I say sis, as me I say, this.
What did you there?
This is anything you see happening in the society is a snapshot of something else, something that is happening elsewhere. So this is not the only instance.
We agree that. We agree on that one.
And this is what I can't understand. I said that's why the church thing, I don't really do the church thing. Because apparently there have been reports made before now. I soon read the article, don't move. There have been reports made. You know about you, I mean, roll off the stream until I go back. See? There have been reports made. You understand what I say? So, at the end of the day, right now, nobody can tell me nothing about Umbrella Man. You understand? Umbrella Man, if you go it, Umbrella Man is preying on the insecurities of people and becoming wealthy while they are becoming more and more impoverished. And then you have some people who still stand up beside Umbrella Man, brother. Yeah, so let me say, he has used this qualification as having a doctorate in psychology to manipulate these people who are try to find something to believe in. How can a woman take steps and make moves to remove her mother and their son from her insurance policy and put Umbrella Man? This man tell people say, yo, look at what they really realize what. And then if you make you wait till Scotty come back, when Scotty come back, I cuss her a little more. So that me I talk about carry the voice note car my actual I want me in focus. Focus me. Yes. The voice note I use in the front of the video today carry. The lady I say right now she not left her pastor and her bishop, you know. So when you can go and talk, you don't even know what go and go to, you know. And she and her bishop apart, you know. You understand? The woman all that turned against her church sister. I say, me street, me and your friend, but you have to go from your saying because when you did a bleed for you long, a pastor deliver you, you know. You understand when you bleed like cow, you know. So you see, pastor has so poisoned the minds of some people in the church. So them willing to run with anybody else in defense of pastor. Them even build GoFundMe campaign for pastor, legal fee, pastor who basically based on the allegations, other man for cut people throat. One of the second youth were dead. Him there hospital, Cornwall Regional Hospital. I don't even know where that's about. He was at the Cornwall Regional Hospital up to Sunday evening. And he was called and told to come to church because pastor promised him one new kidney. He was the second person's throat that was cut. Apparently, he checked himself out at the hospital without permission from the hospital staff. And he went there with some tubes in him because he's suffering from kidney disease. And them report the tubes them all time. And he may say run and them cut him throat and shoot him in his back. Eh? What you mean? Look at you, God, boy, I say that, brother. And people still out there say, the lady I say some demonic invasion because some maroons look here. Me tell you say some way apologies for some people about here, you know. You understand what I say? Alright, you know. Umbrella man. You can't turn there. Hold on. Teach them. Teach them if you run the PFP party. So, as a matter, because words, there are some pictures circulating with him and some former PNP officials. So I don't know what his political affiliation is. You understand what I say? But separate and apart from the Sunday night situation. If you sit down and listen to some of the things that this man is saying, Zane, if you sit down and listen to some of the things that this man is saying, it's like stranger than fiction, man. Yeah, that's what I say. I think yeah, try to take care of his camera. Yeah, that's that. Where you there again? Mm-hmm. You don't do that? Okay. Watch out. So we know the party. We know the them party. You understand? Naked worship. Man claims nudity was practiced at Cult Church. Following harrowing reports that have come out of the Pathway International Kingdom Restoration Ministry, Scotty Church, in Montego Bay, St. James on Sunday night, another person claiming to be a former member has come forward to say reports of the strange activities at the church were made to the police as early as January this year.
So why wasn't anything done?
You listen to your article yet?
May I ask?
Okay.
You don't love when me ask a question, so me answer?
I love when you ask me, when me tell if you ask me.
That's I see. So now you see I see anything pass into with them.
Yeah, fool.
You not do that.
But do that.
You understand? That. Me have a mind and me own, so me have to ask you at different intervals. That man wrap up them mind.
Yeah, fool, man. The man who wishes only to be identified as Michael, the archangel, I'm just saying, says after 4 to 5 months at the worship center, he visited the Freeport police station in February to report instances of public nudity, child abuse, and sexual indecency that he claimed to have witnessed there. Mm-hmm. While Michael cannot produce any documentation to prove that such a report was made, he says the male officer to whom he interacted took his name, phone number, and address and told him the facility would be investigated. In my case, I went and spoke to them. Other persons had gone before me. Persons had gone there from January to make reports. They said they have heard of it. We're aware of it. I said, are you serious? They say, yeah. Michael says he can recall one instance where the police visited the church and was greeted by Kevin Smith himself. There was on one occasion, I think it was on one Sunday, where the people actually turned up at the church and went out and spoke to them. And he went out and spoke to them and they drove off.
Okay.
They left. Persons were there, but they never came inside. He went outside and spoke to them. Michael said that he got into contact with the church last September when a friend invited him. No friend can invite me to go to church. I go to church, I go by myself. And his wife, expecting a wholesome, godly experience. Michael said that he took his wife and children to the church for a regular worship. We thought it was just a normal church. Where normal things happen. But we had no idea it was cultish and people were being forced, not even asked, forced to be nude. He said, there were things that were happening that were reported. The nudity and child abuse. The fact that persons were turning up, coming to church, and when they come, they would stand up there in the church and remove their clothing. A go-go club. Females were doing it. Males were doing it. Then me now in church, a man naked, brother. Eh?
So Michael, sit down and make them watch them.
Michael can report the death. You want from Michael?
No, me just ask.
There were
Michael got reported.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm one of them. There were people running around nude in front of the children. Feel me, beat me. There were situations where females were being taken to the rostrum and podium and stripped. Michael said the church, which held about 300 people at the time, was often filled to capacity with prominent figures in Montego Bay society. Okay. People who had privileged positions were turning up, and a lot of these people had no qualms. They had no problems, Andrew, see? And then I said, picture. But the phone then doesn't have that paper. Michael said persons who refused to strip were coaxed by others in the church to do so. Oh, and keep them money. And were encouraged not to laugh at anyone, lest they face giving a public apology in front of the congregation and ask to strip themselves.
Which church me I go, sir? And they in there take off their clothes and they tell me take off their clothes too.
Then me don't know.
A bedroom, you know?
I don't know a bedroom and want to take off your clothes.
I in a bedroom take off my clothes. You don't know nothing about me. Tell you don't know nothing about me, yeah?
Michael said he and his family stayed at the church for as long as they did out of curiosity. And whether or not these practices were real. The strangeness came to a crescendo when his daughter began to frolic around their home nude. I think the scary part was my wife telling me that my 16-year-old daughter came into the kitchen. I was not there, and she came into the kitchen nude.
Someone one time Michael go to church then?
Michael said them been at the church because them curious.
Curiosity kills.
And one time in going say when the family been a go.
Sir, one time I'm here.
She said to her, what the hell? What happened to your clothes? And she said to her mommy, nobody is here. And she said to her, no, but you never used to do that. Go put on some clothes. The mother told me about it and I said, hell no. And pulled her aside and said, you don't do that. And I realized that there are serious issues. And even after we left the church, I had to get some counseling for her because I realized they were getting to her.
Michael stayed too long for them.
2 weeks after this incident, Michael stopped attending the church and made a report to the police. Michael says he blames the Jamaica Constabulary Force, as always, for their slow reaction to the claims. He says persons had made to them as early as January. I don't want to get into the blame game, but I think the JCF should be 100% held fully responsible for what happened. They could have and should have done something, but they didn't do it. They didn't act fast enough. See? And that resulted in people dying. But remember, say again, you have people in a church where police.
And get brainwashed, sir.
So they searched 2 hours yesterday and the day before. I don't know where they find yet.
Okay.
One of them, then guy also one day and Tonwe, Valerie vex because they've never asked her for the dead.
So they never search for it?
I don't know if they did that at the time. But then go and come back. But the go where they then go and come back could then give people time
to move and
do what they might do.
And do what needs to be done.
Intelligence unit cop linked to Pathways Church reassigned. But I plan to do that video today as my second video. But JPS mash up my life.
JPS mash up.
A policeman attached to the National Intelligence Unit, NIB, Area 1 Division, has been reassigned owing to his membership in the Pathways International Kingdom Restoration Ministries. The police inspector and his wife, a teacher, and their children were baptized by Kevin O. Smith, who has been accused of occult practices at his Paradise, Montego Bay church, which was the scene of a double murder and police shooting amid a bizarre ark ritual. The cop's wife was a senior member of the congregation, and so was his eldest son. It is not clear how involved the lawman was in the church's operations, but a number of photos of himself and his wife, I have those, I may get them pictures if I said there.
Okay.
Like, me have pictures of who them say the police girl is. But just not use them there because at the time I never see no confirmation. And so even you understand what I say?
Yeah.
And thing, but me have all the receipts them. All of them. Everything. Me just don't know picture it or what did I go on in the church at the time. Because the phone and it wrap up in a file paper. So you got tell me, say me if you left my phone in my yard, wrap it up in a file paper, dressed in white, come to church.
Yeah, idiot.
Then me I go in a church and you tell me, say, okay, me dirty so me for go over there so. And the clean people then go over there so.
You don't see me status me and say imagine me and pastor start separate clean and clean. Me now wait for him put me on the side.
You know.
Me put up behind me and say me know me this. Gone, me gone. Put up on which side?
A 4 offering pastor collect at the time, you know.
Me never helping collect ya.
$100 for start the ceremony. $1,000 seed. Irregular offering. And one covenant of the word money, you know. And pastor tell you how much money if you can't come to church, you know. I remember the pastor tell us if you're not paying a tithe, you have to left your man.
Couldn't go to church, so me not have so much offering.
The man say you can't live in a house and not pay rent. The landlord will put you out if you stop paying me my tithes, you have to left here.
Me couldn't go to church.
Eh?
So every Sunday collect them for
I know just every Sunday. Wednesday, Friday and Sunday, 3 days a week. So if I make them I say one brother what they did I say I make about $1 million per week.
I make good money.
Plus him I say you see $350 US thing the
Fee
consultation.
consultation,
Sometimes about 10 people him see per day.
Oh mad.
That's 3,500 US dollars. Nice little food at the
Nice local food.
you can buy me one good lens and left change. 170 to 200. F 2.8. You understand? RF.
Enough offering pastor collect.
Pastor, look here. The first arc, March last year. The mackerel arc, man.
Oh, you dumping a mackerel?
Yeah, about $7 million man make it easy, you know. There are 70 people and they might pay 100 grand each. If you do a few man, may have the full 100. That's about 6 mil. And you can't spend $1 million for the people and for your month and still have a 5 million in your pocket.
I see read an article and say a treating a mackerel for 70 people.
Them man make it stretch like a bread and fish.
Me not forget one of them mackerel though. Me not take it so serious.
And all of them things that we are going at a church and people still sit down there, brother. And people...
And that me I say...
You listen to the voice note of the lady?
No, me not hear it. And that me I say, how do you still sit down there?
So hold on, so me I upload video and I watch them.
Me not see voice note one. But sometimes I get the notification from YouTube, and I have to definitely go in a YouTube.
You have to go?
No, teacher, me not today and Friday and I'm work.
No, because me just sit down high, girl.
Yeah.
Right, me not have nothing to do.
Good morning, Miss Reid. Good morning. Me alright. Me not wrong with me. Me alright. But not listen to everything you hear and believe, because sometimes people run with the wrong story and people say the wrong things and people accuse people wrongfully. But what I'm saying is that we have no answer for what take place. I was there part of in the last part in the evening what happened. But all I know is I see mystery and I see God in action, what I witness. How can you sit on one place and one soldier, police, military, 100 gunshot go at you one time and not one shot touch the man of God? That is mystery. That's all we have to say. What happened is it is not spiritual. It is a demonic attack from some maroon people when car come the Saturday night. We can't explain to you, but we talk to you. Listen to what you hear. But and everything you can swallow and accept. But me alright still, me good. We get paper for go a court for breach a curfew. We were taken to jail. We treated like a king and queen down there. Some of the guys them that was inside, and so His Excellency is still there. But just pray for him, so they will do Jesus and he will come out victorious. So we have to suffer with him and reign with him. Now, so I go, Christ. course I'm good. I'm good because I'm alive and well and God is able to carry through. But you don't tell me you can't answer for me and you cannot stand before God for me. So allow me to make my decision. Thank you for concern. But maybe the concern you have is not a good concern and is not a good advice. So therefore, me no want you sorry for me. And me no want you tell me what you believe in or who you believe in or who you trust. Because every man have to stand before God and give account for their own sin and their own judgment. So you can't be a judge, neither for me, for Bishop, nor nobody. So therefore, work your own salvation out with fear and trembling and leave God people alone and mind your own business. That's all me have to say. Because the Bible teach you and say, touch not the Lord anointed, doing profit no harm. And if you don't know and understand, you leave it alone because only in this world, but you still don't understand the world you live in. So therefore, you need to go down for your knee, ask God to open your eyes and we soon see what take place. Miss Reed, me and you are friend, but you can't tell me what to do with my life and how to live my life. And as so Jesus, when you had 12 disciples, then betray him and then turn them back on him. You can't tell me to turn my back on my bishop because him see you want to deliver you from your bleeding where you ain't come out there with the bleed like a cow and you go to church too much here and he never did and him deliver you, so you can't say that. So you can't tell me what to do with my life and who me to believe in because you don't know what take place. Sorry. This disappoint you, but I'm so sorry. Goodbye.
What that mean for laugh? So you want to tell me so she right here?
You know, like her throat.
Missy Finance says, oh, Finance. She have first breath. Teacher, she already.
Mama said, I will tell you what Mama said.
You know, say Mama start get dark.
Mama said, police and soldier fire 100 shot at man. And none of touch man of God.
But what are that? You know, see, you call like Miss Reed that tell her she be tapping foolishness.
She get dark. But we didn't want to hear Miss Reed said, but Miss Reed show about fear part.
Miss Reed, I tell the lady, you know, see lady start get dark from Miss Reed. And Miss Reed, her friend, you know.
So that me I tell her say, woman a turn against our church member for pastor, brother.
Say.
That is the control the man have over them, bro.
Brainwash them.
His Excellency. I always tell you, say the man them were grown and not title themselves.
And put title to themselves.
Something wrong with them. How much time I tell you that story?
Where? Boy, you put title.
Someone will call themselves king. And they sit there. It's an inferiority complex them have for them to try and make up. I always tell you that something there.
I'm putting no title to no man teacher.
His Excellency. Eh? His Excellency. He might have one name along so. Crown Bishop of the Nabi End Time, Christos 99.
You feel a fool. And that you feel.
You know which high school you go?
Yeah. Yeah, Kim. I can't manage.
I don't read the article. I can't finish reading the answer.
Oh, what a piece of Perkins Island.
We shall with it now. Yes. Other members of the security forces have been confirmed as members of the church, with one policewoman among the group of congregants who witnessed the death of the 3 members and the injury of the others on Sunday night. The policewoman was stationed at the Matilda's corner in Kingston. Information about her whereabouts since her arrest remains sketchy. The pastor and 10 other men from the church remains in custody. And then put the children them in a state care.
State care. The lady said she get queen treatment down at jail. So,
one judge in the rule said them to release them today if they're not charging me now.
the children?
No.
They
Yeah, but I don't see nothing going with that, so I don't know. You see me? So Umbrella Man and him 10 disciples are being represented by Queen's Counsel, Valerie Nita Robertson.
He shot at 2.
He killed them.
Oh.
Then kill them.
Make a little mistake. Okay.
So that's Judas and Peter still. But why kill the girl first?
Cause me not gonna get the insurance.
Insurance money. But how did I plan to pull off that?
Teacher. I'm not gonna give you first. Then something will take place in another local spot there. You hear? Don't kill the girl first, man, because she turn over insurance to you.
But me realize
if you depend on my insurance, you don't know. And once for them, me trust to put on my insurance and then know say them and my mother. May God rest her soul. Anybody else go pan in and no teacher.
So, I'm going to know for collect you when you drop out.
When me drop out, you figure it out. You're there on your own. Me gone. Me not busy with you. You're lucky. Figure it out by your own, sir. Is you know, is your find out you hear where mom say? Seek your own salvation.
Mom's a fool. Mom's like her throat. Look like mom's the over a clean side.
Yeah, man.
Because one of the woman, when I survivor said she did over a clean side and she was happy, so she go up on the ark.
Yeah, she tell me that box, sir.
Let me tell you, so one next woman said she was placed over a dirty side.
And she take a vaccine.
And then cut the girl throat first and jog out the two them out the next bread and cut film throat.
And
then she did next. She started to run. And she said at that time my brother with a pump rifle because she said the gun where brings man and carry. Start fire some shot.
So teacher, you imagine on me over a dirty side, you know what Messi said. Well, I'm gonna beat for that because see what's I mean. But imagine teacher, you're there on the unclean side. Because when you're there on the clean side, you're not afraid. Because you're clean. But imagine me there on the unclean side, sir. I'm see first throat cut. I say, hold on. Unclean people, them are dead.
But you know to the ark they're going nicer. Because them have cow and goat and rabbit and then sitting there. To feed the people. Them.
Oh, and that sauce of mackerel this trip?
No. It's an improved ark journey.
You just imagine, brother.
You see how the vaccine thing, man, use it in it, brother.
Yeah, man, because I heard that because if you took the vaccine, you're unclean.
A man say, I rape them. Man, I joke man that a buggery. And when you hold on man and force them, I rape. And the mask thing, I gag them and gag you. So when man I rape man, then gag them.
Teacher.
Me amaze man to some things. And I say, people are... No, the thing that amazed me the most, Scotty, is that people were there cheering the man.
Encourage it. Brainwash them. Man, say, you must separate it clean from the unclean. From here, see, I that I go on a church that night they
But you never know.
Oh.
You never know.
Okay.
It just if you wrap up your phone and file paper and if and come in white.
That night they don't miss me. If me know, say, I that I go on that night.
Me never go on all white party and me and go to church in all white.
You go up on the
You know white hard to wash.
Yes.
Yeah, fool.
They appear at toes or two.
The two what?
Each of me say. Imagine you over on clean side. And you see say you in that line and you're third man in that line and the first man should get cut. You don't see why I keep me there?
And the girl love him in the dog. I want me to ask a serious question now. I mean, I wonder if the relationship between him and that girl there just platonic. Because it didn't seem to me, say.
For her to take off her mother and her child from her life insurance.
Me curious about the relationship. I not say that no lie.
But me
just like I'm curious about Grace and Rule. I mean, I keep that as a secret neither.
Sir, see, like we would have talked and we say, you have some people who really, them idolized pastor. It's like they make pastor become the God. And that going for mom self. Them no must know nothing. I can't platonic relationship.
You man fear touch him.
No must man.
Oh, normally pastors tend to married. And the next thing. Me not your past, me not your wife mention, me not your pitney mention, me not... I wonder.
Pastor not ready for married yet. He may not wait till after I ask you and come back. Because remember when he come back, I'm so clean people in a day.
No, you're a fool.
Then not that the time I'm not choosing white teacher can be.
So what am I first up? I must say ask sale already, you know?
Yeah, but he never get rid of all like unclean, sir. I know that he will not get rid of all of them in a
how much people do over unclean side? How much people? Them, you know, Mr. Numbers, you.
Teacher?
Right, no things.
All the one who say you're in a line, sir. And you realize you're line where you're in a... When you're there at school, you ever teacher separate, like say...
Homework and not homework.
Yeah. And you realize, but Martha, wrong line, you know. And that tell them people...
No, but that's serious. I mean, know me joke out some serious questions. Not that me expect you say you can answer them, we just ask them in general. Normally a pastor of that profile is usually married.
Some of them.
It means not a Catholic or an Anglican priest where
we don't believe.
Where swear to celibacy and them something there.
Yeah, so we pastor up to?
Then me
Pastor might go fishing in our congregation.
which side?
I don't know, you know what I like.
Because there are allegations in the street that
He was
the umbrella boys
Or
some
his
other boys
boys.
are his boys. Because there was a youth pan and Jack's all angles the other night. We say it's like you then take some boys from them home and stuff and have them together. And basically, if you like go talk to your family, them in beat with O's and then sitting there and if you find out, say that is what the boys say on profile. All that shit, let me tell you something, can make more red flag video, you know. You understand? And thing, probably that video, may a rainbow flag video, but never mind. So a whole heap of little things. So the Clifford Chambers, who is head of Year 1 Police, said that allegations of sexual molestation, no misconduct, have been made and the investigation is taking everything into consideration. But at this point, that is just information. But as I said, the sad thing about it is that anything that happens in the country, one place, it means that it's happening somewhere else. That is just a fact. Man, love him mirror stick. I whole heap of questions, Mama.
More questions than answers.
You understand? There's a lot of questions. So one youth where you used to in the group of boys, I said, oh, him and pastor fall out. Is him start date a little girl in a young lady in a church. And pastor get dark. Say nah marry them. And sort of something.
As I said, too much red flag. There were too many red flags.
The dog said when him left about 5 times. And every time he left is either then come back female or then convince him to come back. I say last time he left, the pastor said that one prophecy of death over him, say head will return on a platter on him. So,
So he come back at church.
He not come back.
God.
He might go, you are one of them places there. You see him?
Okay, Finar.
Really, he does that a lot for true.
Oh. It's another red flag.
And probably look rainbowish. I'm don't talk about umbrella man for now still. Let's see what go on.
It's an interesting way. Are we the development? I will but things are wait for say the developments.
As the brother asked earlier, as I said, it was a brilliant question. What am I charging with?
I tell you, accessory.
Accessory.
Because pastor
as we said that before, it's an accessory.
Pastor tells for
conspiracy.
Yeah, man.
I bet they play insanity.
You know, I said, sitting and whisper in our ears, because I realize you whisper in our ears thing are very enough. Now, everybody I talk to me, I feel talk loud. You know, nobody else. So, when they start talk loud with me, you find that you go whisper and thing to me. Go here, man.
No, Finar, I don't think so still. His Excellency.
The priest.
Governor General.
Ima boss Gigi, His Excellency. Ima plea insanity still. They might find out say I'm not fit for stand trial.
I'm going to plead not guilty, man.
By reasons of...
I'm not taking responsibility. Our next man do it. But even might be what Achilles heel in this. Him still have the psyche of the people in the church locked on a level, you know, brother.
Then that a problem.
Someone doesn't even want to testify against him. She don't like fair throat, man.
She cuss out. Yeah, she cuss out this year, did it. This mom say we stand with him.
But Famwell, you have many people who have been coming out since. Many farmer members, many people who survive I said things now, so I guess people may be there. I don't know. You understand? It's that way.
It's very, 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 I want to see the developments.
You're surprised if Valerie didn't take a case?
Ali a liar, sir. She a her and I keep.
That's the other true.
Hey, she a liar, sir.
If you lie, you then take it.
You tell you say, me know which line me in, so me dog go there him. Can about put me that line. And once me go that line, me no must come up back.
The police girl sit down and watch. Them man cut the girl throat.
So where she there?
She there in a lock up now.
She will get more charge than everybody else.
After she then cut the girl throat first, and then cut the next man throat. Me I wonder if the brother. Me I wonder who fire for the police.
Because the
brother would then kill a knife him did up.
Okay.
I don't think that in there. Them find
so
a
they
gun.
got the rifle?
Them find a gun. No, me not hear no said that a rifle was found. But the lady said when I survivor said, who I figure out the third. Say
she had the third one in there.
She is a pump rifle when I man up when I elder in our church. There's so many like this every day is just something new, brother.
The woman is considered less than the man. I'm not going to the church tonight.
They must say when he come to church, some little boy go take out him bag and him guitar and everything out of him vehicle. Like.
And then I see umbrella boys.
A 3 house dog, you know, down there, you know. 2 in an iron shore, you know. Okay. And next property, you know.
But one of them, me see, look nice.
The big one. Yeah, man. A nice house.
Look nice. Boy.
And people will continue to go to that church. Our churches like those. And we'll hear more stories like these.
Freedom of choice.
Yeah, because of that commission said like there's no regulation in the constitution that gives the police the authority to stop people from worshipping.
No.
Until a crime is committed, unless a crime is committed.
You choose where you go worship.
What if that woman then jump the fence?
Aaron.
And go call the police?
I believe so to box. Everybody in our church should get charged.
Except the youth then.
Everybody is either your accessory or something to the murder. All if you're in an unclean line and you know get next. Can you stay there too?
But remember some of them try run and them bar them into, you know. So when they cut the girl throat, people start shuffle up, you know.
Pastor tell me if you left before that be yard. I wrap up with that file. Come just
my phone and me by, you know.
Yeah, food. Our pastor go tell me say, how much offered me for him? I feel him.
4 hours for the dog, man. And people really sit down in
the true prayer and the vulnerability of people.
That the brother do.
Some of we as individuals we're too desperate to teach. And in a just this local aspect alone, a lot of things we are so desperate to be a part of. The in crowd will lose ourselves quickly.
Yo, before he act, I go see you know. The brother tell the people them to sell them TV and them fridge, you know, because people can watch it through your TV, you know. All the girl
conspiracy.
The first girl dead. She sell for her TV and fridge.
And then she get good
price. Who doesn't buy ice?
Can't be so desperate, man, that you're falling. No, sir.
If Ant-Man them, you know, if first Ant-Man them, you know, I borrow them alone, some of them alone, then go borrow, you know.
To pay 100?
To pay money, you know. And tell them to go borrow a loan for pay money, you know. And then they must say, after you pay 100 grand, you know, you have to pay like the internet bill, you know. Oh, you know watch the video, man.
So why 100 grand cover? Food?
Hawk. And food.
And dumping on the market.
Ton.
And then you pay light
so
and internet on the
water bill must come out to 200 grand. And light bill must come too much, 100 grand, and they must end up
Split
paying
up.
more money.
Or everybody pay.
Then they have to pay it. Then
So how long them in there in the
1 month, over a month.
And pastor in there with them few months?
No, him never in the app. He in the officer between the yard, they look like. So it's like one of them reach out to a former member of the church and she start put some things on Facebook. Because I tell her things have been saying
yes,
before,
as you said, things have been coming.
It's just that because we're not in them circle, then we're not, you understand? We're not see
We
them.
not see it.
So you let them up because it really never done it, you know. And upon it just
It's
it
concrete,
them
yes,
asleep
them
on, you know.
asleep. And
And
pastor
then,
God
and okay, brother, we are telling this, you know, him did night for sack, you know. And if they go back in the axe on the night, you know.
It be that clean line.
I don't know which line it in there, you know. But in short, safe.
Hey, boy, oh boy, oh boy. And he did really go back. He enjoy
I
your
don't know if they
experience.
go back, but we there at church tonight. The dog say your ark is loading now.
Enjoy your experience.
That's the dog. I don't know.
But and the pastor there in ark with you. So how?
I'm a driving.
But he gone about him business.
I'm a sail the ark. You mean I cockpit.
God have mercy for we. You know, see we got the other day we tell you know.
I'm gonna come to church and preach to you every day about marriage. I ain't no married.
Oh, you come to church and spitting on my face. Spitting on who for face, man?
But if you talk to me, I could spit catch me and say, dog, what is spit thing?
And fight me, you have to go fight in our
Spitting on
church.
over face. Let me not kick past a tree rostrum long time. First thing, me go to church and pastor preach some things. I'll pass me as a man do jail. And pastor tell people.
Yeah,
So,
get the
I'm as a pastor, that don't make no sense, you know. Between me and you still. No disrespect, pastor, but that don't make no sense.
Let's see how you want to pastor Pete right in your eye.
Scott, you know me kick him now. You know me not play them a joke. I'm gonna tell you a joke though. I'm gonna tell you say one Friday evening. One night time me and sure me linky them, female linky them from one part. Me there wait for one local empress cap on the hill still there. So me just say me I go and build a trees until empress come cross. That should have come cross from one side. So me go in the guy church with them. One church where they did near Mats Unlimited for half a tree road there. I go there and you know, me I try to study to a girl in our church. Me I look, I say, girl, are nice though. And then me see pastor start pray like, and you know, so online, and then me see people start go back up here and people start jumping at people. And I say, and then things are going. Somebody there go and watch your rate, but then my tree impress them now. When we work with them go up there and them line up too. And then say, come you more, man. And yeah, I'm a friend then. I go with them and pass across people fired with olive oil. You understand? But instead of cross my fired, pass a 3 olive oil in my head. And I try to go twice. But we did that still. And olive oil I run up my fired and nails it. I listen and pass I talk to each person. I 4th person, you know. So 3 empress there. Yeah, so. I go and watch pastor, you know, and I turn up and pastor tell each person something and everybody a ball and some people are speaking in tongues and till me say pastor look cross up because he has some man over there so turn up. And pastor look cross there like he must signal them. So me see them a go and I see 2 men a come back at me. I don't want a man back at me in my jail. I not just talk so loud so I say, no man back at me in a brother. I see people at Japan man and this. And pastor I talk to each empress and I tell them on to them and apparently when I tell them
Connect.
I saw it go. So you know people like me. The pastor come down my side and and pastor say, you know him see me as a very influential youth among person among youths. I guess he must say me as a teacher, I don't know. You understand that? I mean I listen to pastor still. Because when I realize the pastor then when they tell us some things and they probably
They look for your reaction.
Yeah, I say, one matter you know say me I talk tonight. Me I look on pastor. Pastor said to me say, he see me lay down in one pastor never see me before, you know. Pastor me no know pastor don't know me.
So pastor don't know your link in them?
See? But me no know. Yeah, he probably know them. So well, but pastor say he see me lay down in one bed sick. And I say, hey, bed no good pastor. That me I tell pastor. And pastor say, if me ready, to give me. I mean, I know man, if I know, you know, first time I go to church, you know. Pastor don't know nothing about me, and pastor I said, I'm ready to give me life to you. That means I say, not today, no pastor. Not today, I'm say, alright.
There's a pastor said, man, if you
You
catch you.
understand? And one next time, I'm tell you, say, I'm there, Michael. I have a local link, you want a local Empress link with an ISCF. High school Christian girl, but I have a local vibes off her, and she said, if you come with her, I mean, we go cross. So I never to go in a prayer meeting there. I work on the outskirts. You understand? And them I pray. And the brother we are praying now, in name Jarvis, I never forget him. See, in my house too, in live about 3 doors down from. I see this man every day, this man I never tell him that God sent him to me yet. When I did it, I know and the crowd silent and I pray and people in a spirit. And like, I name it because I still study too, girl. Because that's my thing there, you understand? Even though the Empress, me did follow go up there. And the dog go through the crowd and in my circle and in my boss people and he must say, God sent him for somebody tonight. And till me come kind of zone him out. I'm not too listen.
Girl, yeah, look fun.
That's job too, girl. Until me realize that beside me, man, there. I realize the dog I said, you know, said God sent him for me. I mean, I say, yeah. I know tonight me I come still. The dog vexes. So me say, me have so head cook and I tell you say, people are drop down and that. I say, brother, here we go on.
I'm going to tell you bad boy tonight you come.
But not tonight me I go, brother. I mean, and people did say me, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, man. People did say me never be shouldn't deal with it. So, but me not going to tonight, brother. You understand? God link me. So, the church, me kind of say something. I mean, I tell you, so with the pastor thing also where people are drop and man are catch up. Mm-hmm. Brother, they say some things and it's like people frightened. Like, nah, man.
Gauge your reaction.
Nah, man. Me don't want a man back on me first thing, brother. I mean, I'm dropping on a man hand. You understand? And then sit down.
Nobody want to catch
so,
you.
at 2 times, I can't have a local experience.
If I did 2 church sister back a year, I take a job.
Man, I'm not dropping on it. Brother, I'm not play them things, brother. You understand? Because when you're there, so, I see everybody around me and drop, and then, the same thing when you do to people, I mean, I drop. Then what?
You're not dropping him.
No, I don't know still. What's it? Hey, well, auntie. But between me and yourself, a couple of hours well, I live all around out of me. I don't know some man chose so much I live all of me.
No, forget.
You understand? Auntie, man. I don't know. The church thing, as I said, I grew up in a church, you know. I'm a slow.
Yeah,
man, I also go to church with me slow every Sunday, man. You understand? Clockwork. See, you know, when I go live with my stepmother down, I don't really got. Me also go to church every now, but it wasn't. Johnny said, I make it a thing. I said, you have to go to church. You go to church if you did one, go to church.
Okay.
See, you know, when I go live with my mother now, eventually.
Church back.
No, man. Never. Me decide. Can me tell you, me also go play ball at Saturday morning time and go to church.
Yeah.
See, you know, you go to church still, but say, as some of you also go to church, nobody can tell me if I go to church or beg me if I go to church. I go to church because me feel to go to church.
For us, church was we went to church every Sunday.
See, I mean, nobody. I think why I make nobody with church, you know, because when I was at college, you know, I used to go up, I used to go to church. See me? Did?
And yeah, make your mouth.
I don't do any better from there, that's why. See? So,
teacher almost put you in the dirty. Sit my over there, maybe that's
so I used to go to church when I go home from holiday from college. Mm-hmm. But you were there home for a while. So your summer you go to church every Saturday. Every Saturday you go to church. Mm-hmm. Visitors stand up and
me know you don't like that.
Stand up where, man? You don't see me last week. What do you mean me have me there last week, me there the week before that, me there every week so me have man more friends with that man. But
for us growing up, church was a staple in our life. We went to church every Sunday, clockwork. And you see where church there where we live. And we not go round the road, we go down in the gully and go up the hill. But for me, from my experience of the church in my community, of the churches, not just my church, but of the churches in my community, the church provided support for the community.
That is what churches used to do.
The church reach out to those who are in need within the community. But when I was there back then, the church at the soup kitchen, those who were sick and shut in, you go in and you bathe them and you care for them and you provide. That's what the church was for. And that's the role of the church then. But somewhere along the line, I think that some of us, we have lost
But
the meaning of
not
the
even
church.
something along the line, Scotty, because even before that, many of the great wars in
Has
history
been
have been fought in the name of the church. As a matter of fact, I'll go as far as say that most people have died. Most people have died on this planet in the name of religion.
That is true.
Slavery in the New World started out
By
of religion. Because it was, we are going to extend Christendom and spread the word of and all of them something, brother.
Religion.
So a long time the church.
Religion.
But the church comes on a religion, Scott.
That is true.
You understand what I say? So whichever way you die.
But as I say, and it's to each his own. From my personal experience with the church, this is not what the church offers.
And say I've got you so this a church.
No, my church never have that. Sir. You have soup kitchen, you have youth fellowship, you empower the youths. That's what the church offered. You have a youth where you go to school and have no shoes, the church buying khaki, the church paying school fee, the church set up funds to pay for students' exam fees. That was what they were doing. So that is what I know of the church. So when this a brother here, I can't tell you say. Tell who say? I can't tell them say. Come and tell Mrs. Reed Fred. Say, a X amount for offering. And him have to drive the biggest car and him have to in the biggest house. No. And that means
the church has become a commercial entity.
Thank you. That is where the problem is. The biggest problem now, church is a money-making venture. But the realness of the church that I experienced was reaching out to people and helping people. Somebody else burn down, the church come together, you build back. You furnish it back. And anything you can do to help.
Yeah, when I don't that, I have something to tell about the church. I mean, I always say, first thing we have too much church. And the next thing, we have too much variation of church.
Of churches.
You have church of the first day, Latter-day Saints, Episcopalian, Pentecost, church name church.
I did.
So your church of a Connors, you name Connors Church.
I did.
The church of All Harbor, you name All Harbor Church.
The church Boxer
Church.
That is true.
We have too much different variation and modification of what the church should be, brother.
But then again, all this modification comes about because the greed in our sir. The greed in our cause we modify to see how we can rake in the money. Remember, it tell us that the love of money is a problem, sir. So why you think all of them variation come about? No, because me, I see one local avenue where me can make little money, so I say, alright. My church I got name Episcopalian because nobody no have that yet. So that's a for me. And that a my little niche. And me I go tell you say, while the Bible might say 10% you have to give it tithe, a 50 no one. And you're fool enough. Forgive me.
Okay.
Me I go take it.
Of course.
So are the greedy people then just want the money. And me now say, you not build your thing or whatever. But at the end of the day, how are you impacting the community? What are you giving back? How are you helping?
You see, while it is easy to say that our politicians have failed us, which they have,
yeah, man.
our churches have failed us as well.
All day, every day, a politician.
Yeah, that's what I say. Church, what am I doing?
Listen, as where Rose friend say, as where Mrs. Reed friend say. You better go seek your own salvation and nobody tell me. Don't tell her what to do.
What I'm curious to see though is how this thing unravels.
Silver day, me can't go to no church and you are going to tell me how much me a give in my offering.
But hold on, you ever gone to church where you pass or walk, take up your one collection?
No.
Oh, okay, umbrella man do that sometime.
You can't tell me that, sir. I mean, as a girl, I love give offering when I go to church. When I go, if you ever if you notice me when I go to funerals, me give offering. Me do it. Because sometimes you'll see on the program the offering is in aid of whatever. Right? So me I go give it. But you can't tell me say $1,000 me
So you really run certain joke with certain people still.
Suppose a $50 me have, give me back when me put
Can
it
me
in.
run away like quick and fast like that, no questions. Brother, I see them a use the
The
wireless
ATM.
ATM point of sale
Hey,
machine.
they could come off and
You
this
see,
year.
because you are going.
They could leave you alone. But we leave it alone. Yeah, use credit card pay Alfred.
Collect it however they have it.
It's not your offering, it's not yours. And how, well, me now want somebody tell me, how do you use your credit card to pay your tithes? Because that's not your earning.
Credit.
I don't feel your money. The credit card, I don't feel your money.
You pay back, you pay a credit card bill. Well, as me understand what you say, well, you still pay a credit card bill, so.
Sir, it's not your money. That's what Joan said. Them lose the whole essence. Gone, sir. Sir, some you have church now where put up ATM, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Maybe not here, but abroad. So you can pull your money. So you don't have no excuse to say you're not afraid. Okay, you know, you not say you reach a church and forget to pull the money. You don't have that. Yeah, you can't say you left your offering.
But if I don't have the money in my account now, you can't get it.
You can't, and them around this and like.
I am curious to see what charges are laid.
Against Pastor, I tell you what you might get. Accessory.
And the apostles. It can be conspiracy too. Along with the accessory.
He not get charged for no murder. I don't think
but
so.
funny enough, you know, I'm tell you, sometimes things are said that will fly over some people's head. The commissioner of police said that they have been looking at him before this, but not for the situation that occurred on Coachwood Sunday. You understand? And immediately I started thinking to myself, as I tend to do, what could it be that they were looking at him for?
Maybe same child thingy.
Maybe. Also, unconfirmed reports suggest that he was deported from Canada at some point in time. Deported for what? Where was it? Was it in that stream?
I don't remember if I say was it.
That's there. So enough little things what kind of fly over some people head when I miss me and I just see them and I say, oh, boom, 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 and I try to connect some dots. Look, religion from long time a division answer. See? And then the religion is so divided and then subdivided and then subdivided and I don't know.
Right, then you go there.
Yeah, but you know.
But I'm going to cut short Sunday, long and short of it. And nowadays, I have to go chalk up. Any church I go and I see no light, I have to turn back. Once line did them in
How could this thing persist so long that it reach a stage where
yeah, cut short Sunday.
when I dog when they go up on the ark say the brother tell them say COVID a come and it came say something is coming. The man saying no that time the people talk about COVID from December. China and them places. You know.
Yes, something will come and something will come.
Pastor tell him say something will come and something come.
So what that tell? Desperate to believe something even Peter.
But believe what?
Say something will come.
Okay.
One dog should have come.
That's why I get 2 dumpling and
mackerel
gravy and ton cornmeal and broth. Yeah,
yes, Steve. He was deported from Canada for molestation.
Can you refer me to a source for that information, Deniva? Like an article somewhere or something?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very. I don't know, sir, but you're going to ark already and get dumped in a mackerel. You really want
the ark tile off a nest. Ark improve. And plus I have goat and rabbit and cow and nest.
And why you going to ark for? What is the purpose of going?
To hide from the things that were coming because many people were going to die because of the virus. Go watch the video and talk about me.
So fine time I go and you put me in a line. Me have
Me
to,
not put it on. I said, watch the video. I did the video.
me have to careful all you too. I have to start notice when me a come on you know. If me see you start line up people. Me in a one line and Simo in a one line. Problem that. I must be in a clean line if I'm here him. I mean a clean line, me sure about that. Me don't have a friend. If I two away at that
Yeah,
two
why you
line.
love a friend?
I be like clean line man. I work with there years. I be
Please,
like
me I
clean
cut to
line.
this here, sir. We can't talk for you all like to the about. I have just left it. Me have a little mission for crush tomorrow.
And I really,
Me have a one wedding for shoot tonight, tomorrow's.
I'm getting married.
But no, come married, man. I make a video on the wedding and collect some of the money.
Yeah, me I tell the people they say me I get married. I don't go.
Please. The arc of the JDM show. Brother say arc come 9:30 Monday, brother. Yeah, I'm telling the life on the man. JDM show come on Sunday night.
The time married?
Yeah, man. 12 o'clock. A long time. What are you chatting about?
A bedtime.
Yeah, I have to go set some things with charge and pack up some more
Yeah.
things and organize myself. I'm kind of done most of them something to still. I need to set, put up my game.
I see that gone to 68 days now.
Yeah, see, I 12 o'clock.
Guys, Christmas is coming.
Fall is getting fat. TJ, you turn umbrella, man. No, no, sir. No such thing.
Eh,
I'm in a married devil. Right, Kerry J. Right. Right.
That's funny.
Tell those who don't know you.
That's for the umbrella man say.
Peace, big up on yourself. Me sighting up on Sunday. I'm supposed to stream Sunday because I'm supposed to have somebody else on the ends. You understand? And thing and we'll see it go. So talk some more about some other things and then something else. You see me?
See me tell you say you not put me in a one line?
What did I put in a line?
Call look now, you said me. Just see me.
Somebody says, Scotty, you're pretty, you know.
Beard today.
You don't need no cleansing.
Me not gonna wait for going on the line. Can't tell me
Babes,
going on the wrong line.
big up on yourself, yeah. Me soon on Sunday.
Bye guys, enjoy the rest of
Auntie.
your morning now.
And which interview we upload to? I hope one day.
Lied with the last
No.
week.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
You, bro. Watch him, man.
Oh, tall man.
Peace, big up on yourself. Me soon. I interview that long and I'm going to start editing from Sunday.
One go?
Eh?
One go?
Yeah, man. And I know something that we can, you know, based on the nature of the person. People, appreciate the support. You understand? No, do. Go to church if you have to go to church. But don't be a fool to it.
Don't join the line.
And don't join.
Whatever you do not go in the line.
And don't make nobody tell you if you left your phone in your yard and wrap up it in a file paper.
Hi, Miss John.
See, and about no dictate to your color and thing. Teacher, I'm going the road for the birthday. Alright, brother, what good enough? Happy birthday. You understand? And full joy the thing. You see? Speaking about birthday, I saw my birthday. But yeah, I must start show up on that.
Yeah, get old.
I get older.
Yeah, so your birthday.
Yeah, see, top by 6 that's all. 2 days after that. Yeah. How you give me? You give me 100 grand?
All trip paid to the ark.
You can't keep that, man. Babes, what good? Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you soon. I appreciate the support.
Good night.
You understand? And I mean, it's all about foolishness where I go on, brother and sisters. We have to just all our own mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, sexually. All like Alice them.
All of them.
You understand? Because there's a jungle out there, yeah, sir. And as I said, please do your own research. Read for yourself. Stop take hearsay. Whilst you can listen to somebody, you know, but it is incumbent on you to go out and furnish yourself with the information and make your own decision. You understand? Stop make people dictate to you and stop make people make your decisions for you. And you have to go live with the consequences, you know.
I want to Miss Joan's birthday.
You understand what I say? Miss Joan, I want a birthday in a few days. I think I November she born, you know.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly how I top of my head. You understand what I say? There are too many people on social media parading to be the repository of knowledge. You understand what I say? Do some reading
all
for yourself.
flowing and all
Whatever
knowing.
it is. Teach them, don't forget. I 28 a career birthday. Everybody born here.
Yeah,
Everybody 28. You know me put in it like how she tell me, can put in, not see me, so me and see me can't see. Alright, Kerry, I won't forget. I hope not. See, so we have to be careful because everybody have an agenda, you know.
Yep.
Everybody have something where they want to achieve. And it's not everybody you hear say something really true to what them say and mean you're the best. Mean you're good.
And some people have two agenda because there's always the hidden agenda. So while he must show you one,
curriculum.
yeah, while he must show you one, there's a next one where it can really operate from. So you just have to be careful and make smart decisions and
What Miss
choices.
Rose said for the seek your own, huh?
Your own
Salvation. Yeah, man. Oh, it's on Tuesday. Oh, say, okay. So that will be the 26th.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's our premiere day. Okay. Alright, so we can big up Empress during in 26. And peeps, all good. Step with ya. Safe travel upon the graphic.
Don't go in there.
You understand? Scotty, we have all the people them.
Good night, guys. Be safe. Make smart decisions for yourself. Don't join the line.
Peeps, big up on yourself. Heart of love. You know we're out here. You understand? And make we start think for yourself. I'm out.
Thank you for tuning in. Like the stream before you go. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Remember to share the stream with your family and friends and browse the channel for more amazing content. Until next time, walk good, my friends.
Teach them. Hey, yo, hello. Send the message and make it reach them. It's Teach Them right here. Warlord representing.